Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
Bandwidth for TWiT specials is provided by CacheFly at CACHEFLY.com.
This is TWiT Live Special number 252 for September 9th, 2015. Apple's Hey Siri event. This TWiT Live Special is brought to you by Braintree. If you're working on a mobile app and searching for the right payments API, check out the Braintree V.0 SDK. With one simple integration, your customers get every way to pay. To learn more and to try out the sandbox, go to braintreepayments.com/twit. Hey, everybody, and welcome to our special live blab, I like to call them, of Apple's big announcement today. We're getting a stream from the event. We also have our own cameras there, which we will go to later on today. And joining me today here at the big table, of course, Leo's not here, obviously. He's in New York having some fun with some TWiT fans there. And joining me to my right is Alex Lindsay, the one and only Alex Lindsay, he of Pixel Core fame. What's going on, man?
We're here. We're excited. I'm waiting to, see what's going on.
And just very quickly, you and I were talking before we started to hit the record button here, that there's a rumor flying around that there's not going to be an October event. This is it for the rest of the year. Everything will be packed into this event. You believe the rumor, and I believe it as well.
Yeah, I think so. I think that it makes a lot more sense. I think from purchasing for Christmas and the getting the full value out of the quarter, so to speak. I think it makes a lot more sense to just pack it all into September.
All right, wonderful. And also to my left is Megan Morrone, she of TWiT fame, and you, of course, have your own iOS show, and, of course, you do Tech News Tonight every single weeknight at 4 p.m. Pacific. And what is your feeling going into this? Do you think that this is going to be a sort of make or break event for Apple, or do we already know everything there is to know about it, and it's just going to be another business as usual for Apple?
Well, I think that the phones, there's not going to be that much stuff on the phone, so that's why I think they're piling everything else in there. But I don't know. I mean, it's going to be a lot, whatever it is, and I'm excited. I've never been able to sit at this table before. This is my first time at this table.
Isn't this a cool table?
So I like it, yeah.
The best thing about this table, and don't tell Jason, but there's a mute button where you can mute Jason. So feel free to reach across at any point. And there's the event there. We're looking at that stream there. That's a very, very big venue. And do we have Andy? It looks like we do. Andy Ihnatko of the Chicago Sun-Times, America's favorite personality. Andy Ihnatko, welcome to the live stream here.
Hey there, Mike. I can tell you I'm here at the Ed Sullivan Theater, and the anticipation for the new iPhones and the new Apple TV is just monumental. Now, I got to say that it's not. I'm not recognizing most members of the press here. I'm actually maybe the most famous person here, which is fine. I mean, because it means that if Tim Cook has more time for me.
And for those of you listening to the show, he is at the Ed Sullivan Theater outside of the Stephen Colbert, the brand new Stephen Colbert version of the Late Show. And anyway, so you're going to be live blabbing this with us. Andy, thank you so much for joining us from the mean streets of Midtown Manhattan. And fantastic. So let's take a look at this stream and let's look at the venue. And what do we make of this? I mean, there was a lot of question about why they need a 7,000 seating capacity. One theory was that, and there's the Apple folks there in the front. One theory was that they were going to cordon off part of it, remove the seats, and have a demo area. Another theory was that they're launching things that require lots of partners, like the gaming stuff is going to need all the gaming partners. The TV is going to need TV partners. It goes on and on. So looks like there's no demo room there. Where are they going to demo this stuff? Is anybody familiar with this venue in San Francisco?
I went to a Webby Awards there once, I think, maybe 1999. But yeah, no. And I definitely think there's not room for my Apple car, which I was expecting.
Yeah.
No one else was expecting that, but I was.
Coming right out from left field. And then one more thing.
Right, one more thing, the Apple car. But it doesn't look like there's any room to drive an Apple car in there, which is sad.
It's tragic. I think that if you were to give a percentage of likelihood for the various things that are rumored, I would say that the iPhone 6S and 6S Plus is 100%. The Apple TV is 98%, all the way down to the Apple Car, which is 0.002% likely.
I realize one of the reasons that they may be using this space is because, Salesforce's Dreamforce is next week, and pretty much every venue in the city is booked. And this is the one venue I don't think that they use. I mean, they have 7,000. This is an experiment, and that's probably not the only reason.
Yeah.
But I can tell you for sure that most of the places they normally go, unless they did it from Cupertino, which they've done in the past as well, have been would be booked in the city. I'm sure that might have been, as they try to decide what size. But this is a big. I don't know if they've done one this big for a long time.
So, Andy, what thoughts do you have going into this event? Of course, there's been a ton of hype, ton of predictions. What are you thinking going to this event, and how does this event, do you think, differ from previous events that we've seen?
Well, they definitely got a lot of cards to lay on the table today. Normally, there's not a whole lot to talk about new iPhones lately because they pretty much finished development a few years ago. But if they're going to talk about Apple TV, that's going to be a launching of an entirely new app platform. So it's like they're launching a brand new product. It would be as significant as Apple Watch. If they are actually going to talk about the iPad Pro today, which would surprise the hell out of me, but who knows, that is once again going to be them sort of reintroducing the iPad, not as a vague, hey, it's for media, hey, look, what will your verse be today sort of device, but it would be the, hey, everybody who buys 1,000 tablets at a time for enterprise, here's why here's why the iPad Pro stands for productivity and not simply professionalism. So, and also, I'm not alone in picking up a lot of interesting vibes.
There's Tim Cook on stage. I'm sorry to interrupt, Andy, but there's Tim Cook just walked out on stage.
Good morning.
Isn't it 1 p.m.?
Good
oh, no, in New
morning.
York. It's
Thank
in San
you
Francisco.
for
It's still
joining
morning.
us, and welcome to San Francisco and the legendary Bill Graham Civic Auditorium. Be more excited to be here this morning, and we're so glad that so many people from all over the world could join us, including many of our employees. Hey, guys.
Don't get used to it, employees. We're going to be in the new Apple Spaceship Campus venue, which seats about 300. They'll never come to another one of these again.
It's been an incredible year for Apple. We are really firing on all cylinders, and we are about to make some monster announcements across several of our product lines. So we have a big day ahead, and there's no time for updates. So I'd like to get right in and talk about Apple Watch.
Hate those updates.
Yes.
This is a total departure. Usually they brag about numbers
Apple
for a
Watch
while.
Available to our customers around the world. It's already changing their daily lives, and they love using it.
Of course, maybe they're not doing the updates because they don't want to.
They love how quick and easy it is to respond and receive to messages and phone calls and notifications from their favorite apps. They're amazed at how Siri on the watch lets them do so much with just their voice, like get directions or send a quick message. With Apple Pay, customers are loving that they can purchase directly from their wrist. And Apple Watch is helping our users live a better day. Closing those rings had become a healthy obsession.
He's already slowing down the pace,
In
which
fact,
he does
we've
for
been
emphasis.
flooded by emails like this one from Dennis, saying that the Apple Watch has motivated him to work out and exercise on a regular basis. To many people like Dennis, the Apple Watch has been life-changing. For all of these reasons
Jared of
and
Apple.
many more,
Hopefully not.
That's why they're not giving his last name.
Customer satisfaction is an incredible 97%.
Have you closed your rings today yet?
Have I what?
Closed your rings on your Apple Watch?
I'm closing most
Now,
days.
despite just launching the
Because I set
watch
them really
a few
low.
months ago, we are on an incredible pace of innovation. And to tell you about where we're going next, I'd like to invite Jeff Williams to the stage. Jeff?
I'm so fascinated by the fact that for the first time ever, they didn't start with a bunch of look at how many apps have been downloaded, look at how many trucks of money we made, etc.
He doesn't have his shirt tucked in.
In June, just weeks after launching Apple Watch, we previewed our next generation of OS, and it's packed with powerful features. There are new watch faces, like this beautiful one with time transit, and third-party complications. Third-party complications, this is a big deal. It's a really powerful thing to be able to glance at your wrist and see the information
literally, I have a
that's
couple
important
things
to
I
you.
can't do
And now
on
with
my watch right
third-party
now that makes me a
complications, you
little
can
nutty.
see even more. Things like the latest news or your airline departure time and time travel. Just rotate the digital crown and view the day ahead. It's the fastest way to see the next couple of meetings or check what the temperature will be later in the day, for example. And we're adding transit to maps, making it easier to find and use public transportation. Now, in addition to these and other built-in features, developers have been hard at work. There are already over 10,000 watch apps on the App Store.
And 7 of them are very useful.
And now, with native apps, developers can do even more. Apps can display video, they can access hardware, like the microphone, speaker, and health sensors. I'd like to show you a few right now. Facebook Messenger is coming to the watch. Facebook Messenger allows users to send text, send audio messages, and share their location right from their wrist. And iTranslate, one of my personal favorites. Just speak into the microphone and see and hear translations in over 90 languages. And GoPro. The wrist is an ideal location to control your GoPro. And now
is the GoPro app new, or is this?
I think these are all new.
No matter where your camera's mounted,
Not yet.
you'll always know
because now you're
where
able to
it's
see
pointed and
video
you never miss
on
that
the
important shot.
on the watch.
And then AirStrip. This is an app that is for physicians, and I think it's a great example of just how far developers can go with native apps. But rather than describe it for you, I'd like to bring up Dr. Cameron Powell, co-founder of AirStrip, to demo it for you now.
Thanks, Jeff. Joining me on stage is AirStrip co-founder Trey Moore. You know, AirStrip plays an important role in our country's healthcare system, leveraging the use of iPhone and iPad. But here comes another game changer for healthcare, Apple Watch. Let's start with a physician who's viewing his daily schedule, making rounds, and communicating with the team. Now, if I look at my watch face, I can see my next patient, I can notice their diagnosis, and I can actually time travel to see what's next. But let's see what happens if a nurse sends me a notification. Now, within the message itself, I can see the alert, the waveform snippet, vital signs, and the lab results. The reason that I can immediately see all of this relevant data is because once I have the watch on, I am securely authenticated until I take it off. Now let's go back and dig a little deeper on that waveform. I really want to know what's happening right now. Now, thank you.
When he came up, I was like, this better be good. It's good. That's
now,
real-time
cool.
monitoring.
This wasn't possible until Watch OS 2. But what I really care about is I want to compare
OS 2,
what
that's a
happens
great name
in
for an
real
operating
time
system.
to what has been happening
Watch
more
OS
recently. And I can do that on Apple Watch by rotating the digital crown. Now, as you can see, AirStrip magically pulls all this data together into a single view through our AirStrip One platform. And we make it available to Apple Watch for display. But what is so great is I can take action on what I see. Here, I can send a HIPAA-compliant, secure message to a member of the patient's care team. In this instance, I'm going to order a repeat ECG. Okay, we're going to switch gears. Let's talk about how AirStrip with Apple Watch will change how doctors communicate with their patients. Now, Airstrip has been used already to monitor over 3.5 million pregnant women in the hospital. But with our new product, Sense for Baby, we can now monitor these women at home leveraging Apple Watch. So here you see a message from a doctor to the pregnant patient at home asking her to begin monitoring her baby's heart with something called a non-stress test, or an NST. Now the mom, with the watch on her wrist and connected to the Sense for Baby sensors on her belly, starts the test. Now, as I can see on this green line, I can confirm that I'm monitoring the mother's heart rate as it's being read by Apple Watch. But I can also see the baby's heart rate and the mother's contractions as they're being read from Sense for Baby. So finally,
on the stream?
Finally, I can differentiate between the mother's heart rate and the baby's heart rate.
It's interesting that this is an enterprise app. This isn't a consumer app that they're talking about. This is not going to convince any consumer watching this that they want to own this watch.
Actually,
to the baby's heart rate.
Go ahead.
Actually, I think I was just thinking about that, and I think it will indirectly, because if they can get doctors excited about this, they'll get the medical establishment excited about it, and they want the Apple Watch to be the standard for this type of medical application across the board. What do you think about that, Andy?
Are they going to make this a real hit by selling it to doctors? I mean, it's part of the story, but given that everybody's certainly going to be tuning in for the first 20 minutes of this, I'm surprised they're not showing something that really shows off why a consumer will want to, who has been on the fence, might want to go out and buy this now.
So they're not talking about the pregnant woman wearing the watch. The pregnant woman is wearing the sensors.
Right. They're talking about doctors who are on the golf course and can't be bothered to even take the phone out of their pocket if their patient is dying.
Thank you very much.
But if you're having a non-stress test at home, I mean, that's an advantage to someone. I mean, I had 3 children. You have to go in. It takes time. So if I could do it at home and not, or at work, that's an advantage to a consumer.
That's why we do what we do.
It is interesting and unexpected for sure.
The power and potential of watchOS 2 is unlimited, and we can't wait to see what else developers do with it. I want to switch gears, and I want to talk a little bit about our collection. When we created Apple Watch,
here come the new watch bands that have been rumored.
Expression of your personal taste and style. And today, we're offering even more choice. We've been working with a company that we greatly admire on some new watches. This is a company that shares our commitment to excellence and craftsmanship, and that company is Hermes.
What is that, a belt?
It's like you can put that around your head.
It's stylish. It's almost as stylish as
Together
this
we've created a collection. It starts with this iconic doubleture that wraps elegantly around your wrist twice. It's made of hand-stitched leather that ages beautifully over time.
Like a scarf.
And joining the doubleture is a single tour and a cuff. Each of these has an Hermes watch face that uses their traditional iconography. These are going to be available in select stores in October, and we think people are going to love Apple Watch Hermes.
Such a weird thing, Apple, the biggest technology company, selling strips of cow flesh.
On new models and new bands, and I'd like to show them to you now.
They said how much they cost?
If you have to ask, Andy.
Yeah. Another band that's about as good as what you get for free with a $300 watch.
Yep.
Actually, man, I got a couple extra bands, and I'm still using this one that came with my Sport. Like, I was like, I like this one.
So we're seeing rose gold for the first time. We're seeing the time lapse there.
Yep.
Here's the red band.
Okay. Well, this special episode of our live stream here for the Apple Watch event, which is called "Hey Siri, give us a hint." We still don't have that hint. Is brought to you by Braintree. Braintree is a mobile. If you're a mobile app developer, you got to check out Braintree, because they'll make it super easy for you to process payments used by Uber, Airbnb, and so many of Silicon Valley's most successful unicorns, and you can be one of them as well by using Braintree. No minimum monthly fees, no red tape. You only pay for the transactions you process. Now let's go back to the Apple event.
This adds a whole new dimension to the lineup. You actually just have to see them in person. They're really, really beautiful.
And I think that one of the things that I got excited about looking at the medical application is just how much data you can integrate. I think that was what they were trying to point out. It's probably not about whether it was enterprise or not. I think it was more about look at how much we're tying hardware and tying data into what you can do on your phone to get other people thinking about what they can do with that.
Yeah, my heart rate accelerated to about 2 or 3 points higher. So that's really exciting.
A portion of the proceeds goes to the Global Fund.
Product Red Watch. That's nice.
I think you're going to love it. One of the things that people love about Apple Watch is the ease with which you can change the band and create a whole new look. And so we're adding a fall collection of new bands ranging from vibrant hues to more neutral tones. And when you pair these bands with different cases, you end up with some truly unique combinations. It's really nice. So that's our Apple Watch lineup. And as we look forward to the holiday season, we're really excited.
Customize it to make it look more formal, less
new
sporty,
models,
however they want to do
and new OS with native apps. We think
leaving the whole thing to third-party watch bands.
Fantastic holiday gift.
And we figured this whole watch and watch band business was better than building a printing press. So September 16th, watchOS 2, September 16th.
Thanks, Jeff.
1 week.
It is amazing what kind of power that you now have on your wrist. It's really incredible, and we've got some great new looks. Next up is iPad.
Oh, there you go.
Yes.
There it comes.
iPad. iPad is the clearest expression of our vision of the future of personal computing. A simple, multi-touch piece of glass that instantly transforms into virtually anything that you want it to be. In just 5 years, iPad has transformed the way we create, the way we learn, and the way we work. We're partnering with the world's leading enterprise companies, IBM and Cisco, to redefine and transform the way people work in the enterprise.
Yep. They have to talk about this as a productivity device now.
As we've brought more and more capability and more power to the iPad, we've been amazed at the new and unexpected things that our customers have done with the iPad.
Absolutely. The only good productivity suite, productivity library for a multi-touch tablet. Even Windows 10 does not have a halfway decent library of apps that take advantage of multi-touch.
Today, we have the biggest news in iPad since the
iPad Pro.
Looks like I need to have to buy a bigger bag
to show it to you.
An iPad with OS 10.
We're going to need a bigger sleeve. You're looking at it. It's the entire screen. The iPad VistaVision.
Is this sponsored by Star Wars? Coming in.
Yes.
Look at the speaker holes.
That's the vent for the fan. The 9 muffin fans for the A12 processor bank.
Strange.
3 dots. What is the 3 dots? Multi-touch on 2 separate hands. Slim.
Runs really hot.
Slim good body. Yep.
As hot as the sun. You can cook on it. It's the iPad cooker.
The new induction screen technology. Perfect for the camper or RV.
So no lightning.
Or if it has ports, they didn't show it.
There it is. It's just plain large.
This is the iPad Pro.
So what size is that?
It's just under 13 probably.
It's the most capable and powerful iPad we've ever created. It is chock full of amazing advanced technologies and innovation. To tell you all about it, I'd like to invite Phil Schiller up. Phil?
Don't drop it, Tim. That'll be your developers moment.
Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you.
So where are we at? Three untucks and a tuck?
I'm so excited.
2 untucks, 1 tuck.
Okay.
Tim Cook only tucked.
It has a huge
It's a lifestyle.
screen,
No, the
biggest
other guy
ever built in an
tucked, I
iOS
think.
device.
Jeff Williams was
It has
untucked.
more power and performance than any iOS device
Not
we've
that I'm
ever
keeping
made either. Let's start with that display. Why make an iPad with a bigger display? With a larger display, well, think about the iPad from the very beginning. It's a magical piece of glass you hold in your hands. You can touch the software. You can touch the web pages we surf. We can touch the books we read. We can touch the documents we create. And it can do
The
things
news apps looks like
that a
on that big screen.
smartphone can't do because it doesn't have to fit in your pocket. And it's thin and light enough to hold all day long so that it can do things that a notebook can't do. So with a bigger screen iPad, your TV shows and movies are more cinematic. The games we play are more immersive and powerful. And an iPad is always a multi-touch device. So now with the bigger iPad Pro, you can have a full-size software keyboard. So you can type in your documents with this great big keyboard. And keyboards can do many things, like be an amazing musical instrument. Yeah, somebody likes music. We can do something on an iPad that you can't do on a notebook. And the new multitasking features in iOS 9, slide over, split view,
If they use
picture,
people with tiny hands
were
to make it look
designed
bigger.
with this iPad Pro in mind. They make it so much more productive and capable. So how big is the screen on the iPad Pro? It's 12.9 inches on
The
that
rumors were
diagonal.
very accurate.
Yeah.
Why 12.9 inches? Well, here, let me tell you a little secret about its size. Let's put next to it our previous largest iPad. That's iPad Air 2. If you look at the width of the iPad Pro, it is the same as the height of the iPad Air. And then we
Why
take
does that
that
get
height
applause?
and we make a 4:3 ratio. And now you have an iPad big enough to run your full iPad Air
That's interesting.
apps with more room side by side. It is an incredible display. It is 2732 by 2048 pixels. Do the math, it's 5.6 million pixels. Far more than on any iOS device before. In fact, that's even more pixels than a 15-inch MacBook Pro with Retina display. It is a beautiful display. Your photos will look amazing on it. Huge, incredibly detailed, rich colors. Your documents will be full size with laser sharp text. And I'll say it again, watching movies on it is incredible. It's an amazing experience. This is the most advanced display we have ever built. It took some incredible innovation and technology. For example, we used the technology that we created in the iMac with Retina 5K
I wonder how much of
display
that
and its
case is
timing
battery.
controller
I bet
to
it's
drive
like
all
the
those
new
pixels
MacBook.
quickly. We made it look beautiful with our photo alignment technique, which means it has great on-axis contrast ratio.
Well, especially with a resolution that high. I mean,
Made
it's
the best oxide
gonna be a
TFT
huge burn.
material, which means we can light up the pixels quickly and have uniform color and brightness. And for the first time in an Apple
I'd be
display,
shocked if they can't
has a
say it gets the
variable
same battery
refresh
life
rate.
as the Air.
That means that if things aren't moving quickly on the display, we can slow
Right.
it down and save energy. This is an amazing display. And
Yeah, it's
inside
pretty much
it,
all battery.
something even more amazing.
I got a circuit board
Powers
right down the center,
this
and then
is
it's
the
just
new
battery.
A9X chip. It's our third generation 64-bit chip. We've doubled bandwidth to memory. We've doubled the read and write performance to flash storage. It is so fast.
Every
They got to
room around
move
this
so
is-
many pixels to that
The
display.
new
Yeah.
A9X is 1.8 times faster than the A8X it replaces. This is desktop class performance. To compare what our team has done, our chip team is just on fire. Over the last 5 years, they've grown performance in the iPad 22-fold for CPU tasks. And graphics tasks are even faster. We've doubled the performance of graphics over the A8X. And over the last 5 years, this is unbelievable. Graphics performance has gone up 360 times.
In short, that thing we were so excited about last year is
in this year alone.
nothing.
You combine that fast hardware with great software, like
Although my
an
kids still use
the
first iPad.
Oh, yeah.
Games and
Fantastic.
Turns out Minecraft goes just as fast.
They're not showing the graph of 9.7-inch iPad sales
Here's
over the
another
past
way to
3-4
think about
years,
how
though.
fast
Oh.
And I think
iPad
that's
Pro
what this is responding to as
It
well.
is faster than 80% of the portable PCs that shipped in the last 12 months.
It's a nebulous comparison.
That's at CPU
That
tasks. At
begs a
graphics
follow-up.
tasks, it's
Yep.
faster than 90% of them. So, when you run tasks and applications,
Okay,
that we
I
all love
assume
to
BS
use,
on that
they
number
get
until they
incredibly
show
fast.
how
For
they
example,
calculated it.
iMovie. Running iMovie on an iPad Pro delivers desktop class performance. With iMovie, you can now edit 3 streams of 4K video simultaneous. That's
Wow.
incredible performance. And it's going to enable new classes of applications for iPad. For example, check this out. This is AutoCAD 360 from Autodesk. It's an incredibly powerful application. This image has 320,000 objects in its wireframe mesh. And you can zoom in and pan around it with buttery 60 frame per second smoothness, something you can't do
Why doesn't he
on
do
a
it then?
PC. And all that
I
power
don't
comes
understand.
with all-day battery life. 10
He said you
hours of
can. He
battery
didn't say you
life.
should.
So we got an amazing display, incredible performance.
I don't understand.
battery life.
There's a lot of
He can see out
stills
the corner
here.
of his eye, all these engineers backstage waving their no, don't show, no.
It'll hurt them.
This display deserves a great sound system. And so for the first time ever in an Apple product, we now
And
have
it
a
works on Mars, evidently.
speaker audio system. And it automatically balances the
speakers.
left and the right.
Bring
depending on
iPad Pro
how you're
home.
Holding the iPad. And it balances the frequencies between the top and the bottom dynamically to create a beautiful stereo sound.
That was not rumored.
And it
Yeah,
puts
we
out
didn't hear about
3
that.
times the audio volume of an iPad Air 2. You really have to listen
See,
to it. It's
they're
amazing.
they're making this
And
to
that's packed
compete
into a
with $600 and
device
$700
that's
Windows 10
incredibly thin
tablets.
and light.
So it really has to be specced out like a Windows 10 tablet.
Yep.
Most of which are actually really well made and very satisfying. But none of this thin. I'm sure none will be this build quality at the price they're going to offer it. Obviously we don't know how much it costs, but it's got to be less than an iPad Air. Sorry, MacBook Air.
iPad. It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
They're both just around 1.5 pounds, which is unbelievable because the iPad Pro has a 78% larger screen area. It has 360 times more graphics power. It is thin and light enough to hold all day and powerful enough to take everywhere. Whether you want to watch movies in the park or edit a
Yeah, you can go
film
outside
on
now and watch
location.
TV.
This is an amazing iPad.
Under an umbrella.
The story doesn't stop there. Let's go back to that software keyboard. It's a great keyboard. It dynamically changes as we use different applications. And it's how most of us will type on our iPad Pro.
No questions are going to get force
But
touch.
because we're enabling applications not possible before in an iPad, sometimes you like the
Force
convenience
touch would
of
suck
a
on a
physical
keyboard. At least the way they've
So we're
implemented
very
it so far.
excited to tell you about a brand new accessory just for iPad Pro, and it's called the Smart Keyboard.
And let's make a list of everybody who was complaining about the Microsoft Surface Pro
This is unlike
keyboard.
any keyboard you've ever used before.
Never ever say a
Covered in
concept is
Apple
terrible
woven
because
fabric.
Apple might make one
That fabric
too.
creates the cover, but also forms the structure and the feel of those keys. And they feel really great to type on.
They work nice. They're
Inside,
just not a real
It's a
keyboard.
new Apple dome switch that we pioneered.
It'll work
with the
great for the
MacBook.
purpose
And it
it's
works
articulated
beautifully
for,
in its great new smart keyboard.
which is
So how
have
do
just
you
a cover that
attach
you can type on.
or connect the smart keyboard to your iPad Pro? Well, if you look closely, there are 3 new circles along the side of the iPad Pro. This is a brand new connector technology. We call it the Smart Connector. It carries
We call
power
it
and data
incompatible with everything
connects
else.
magnetically to the smart keyboard. So when you want to attach your iPad to the keyboard, you just slide it on it. And the software in iOS 9 automatically adapts and changes because it knows you want to use the physical keyboard versus the soft keyboard. So that's the new smart keyboard designed specifically for the iPad Pro.
So do we see a lightning connector? Or is it
didn't see
all
one.
is it all through the smart?
So that's typing.
They got to make it
Let's
easy to
talk
get
about
files in and
line
off of this thing.
and illustration. Customers have created amazing works of
That's
art,
for the cloud,
drawing on
Andy.
their iPads with their fingers. iPad's all about multi-touch, and we will continue to use our hands to
I've looked at the
interact
cloud
in
from both
amazing
sides
ways
now,
on
Alex.
iPad.
Both sides are filthy.
But iPad Pro is going to enable new classes of applications that require even greater precision ever possible before. A new level of precision and accuracy
Stylus.
that requires some amazing innovation.
Yep.
So we're so happy to introduce to you another brand new accessory.
As Steve Jobs says.
specifically for iPad Pro.
I'm trying to resist, like, Steve
there's
Jobs
the
would be
stylus.
rolling in his grave.
It
He's
is
like, oh my
pretty.
gosh, you've done everything I didn't want to do.
They didn't come out first with the stylus. They come out with the stylus when it was ready.
Right.
And this Apple Pencil is packed with so much amazing new technology. We have a great video to tell you all about it now.
You know, I will say low latency pressure sensitivity would be enough. Like, I'd be very excited about it because I just can't find a pen that I'm happy with.
Yeah.
And I have bought all of them.
To enhance what's possible with multi-touch and to allow...
Remember
for
that
a
the
new level
first
of
Surface
precision with
tablet, even though it wasn't a great device, well, artists loved it because it was like having a Cintiq tablet because it had that 1024 pressure-sensitive stylus on it.
Right.
All it had to do was run Photoshop and Anime Studio.
Right.
This could be really huge. I would be disappointed if they were just doing like a handwriting stylus.
The system
Right.
scans twice as often, allowing iPad Pro to capture more points in a single stroke.
I'm trying out
Highly responsive sensors
a couple of Windows tablets where, again, it works for the stylus, but it's really just for Evernote writing. You're missing such a big trick that you can't be creative with this.
Oh, it looks like angle sensitivity.
Oh, this is looking sexy as hell.
We'll give you a moment,
Guess
Andy.
what? Guess what? I didn't spend $900 flying out to San Francisco for this, but that means I have $900 to spend on this. I think I'm going to Scott Bourne this.
Oh my gosh.
I'm actually only 4 blocks away from the Fifth Avenue Apple Store. I can probably be there in the next 45 minutes.
Allows it to be used simultaneously with your finger.
Wait, what was that an on-screen? What kind of ruler was that?
It has a responsiveness that feels like
Great for the Chinese market right there.
Instrument.
Wow.
Sorry. While its battery
Yeah,
lasts
I think I'm going to
for
have one of these.
Must
a lightning
have.
connector lets you recharge
lightning.
by plugging directly into iPad Pro.
Oh, so there is a lightning.
Yeah.
Yep.
But you have to put it in the right side or else it gets stuck.
Yeah, that's where it's mounted. You just have to have it sticking out at the bottom the whole time.
Technology, working with our most advanced multi-touch display, it delivers something extraordinary. Precision that actually gives you
So the stylus is
to touch a single.
the stylus is extra, or does the stylus come with the iPad? The stylus is
Good
extra.
question.
I'm sure it's extra.
See, this is what I was talking about with the watch
$129.
earlier. They're showing things that consumers will really understand about what makes this awesome. They're not talking about, and now with 3D
This Apple
cartography
Pencil is
laser
absolutely amazing.
ideas,
And
you
to
can
get that
look at
level
spy
of
satellite
latency,
photos. It's like, no,
feels
you can
like
draw
you're
with it.
drawing directly on the display. It took an incredible effort of collaboration between our hardware, software, and design teams, and they've done a remarkable job. And customers are going to feel it every time they use it. They can use it within built-in apps in iOS, like our new Notes app, where you can draw and diagram directly with Apple Pencil. Or in Mail, where now with our new markup feature, when someone sends you an attachment, you can draw and mark up right on that attachment.
I wonder
and
if they've
send it on
done
to
something
them.
to make sure it's hard
You're
to
going to see
lose
new
the pencil.
applications from
Like
developers
if it will
that have
magnetize
created
to the
features
case
that
or
take
something.
full
They have a
advantage
new
of this
Find My
huge
Pencil app.
iPad Pro display.
exactly.
Yeah, that's what they need.
Power, and most of all,
Your
You can find it
pencil
with
is
your
in the
Apple
couch
Watch.
again.
like
It's the same way you can find your phone. You use the Apple Watch to press
illustration
the
and drawing application.
alert.
It just comes alive on iPad Pro.
You should have
And
a
applications
special
we've not seen before, like
Apple
this.
Watch
It's called
case that has a
UMake,
pencil mount.
designed specifically for iPad and takes full advantage of that display and that incredible Apple Pencil. Well, Apple Pencil is one of the most advanced technologies we've ever created in a simple, beautiful form. And we've been lucky enough to have a few developers come in and take a look at the new iPad
It's
Pro.
kind of like a College Humor type of thing.
What's
Apple
possible
Pencil.
with this incredible new technology.
I bet you $10 they
So,
chose
I'd like
to
to do
call
a
it the
few
pencil
demos.
because all of
And
these
to begin
styluses
with,
on Windows machines are
great
called
to
pens.
have a
Yep.
developer come and show us
Not
what's
even joking.
possible with
Yeah, no, I
professional
think you're right.
productivity.
Also the ability to shade on the
Need
side
to
of the
know
thing, but I
better
bet that was part of the argument too.
Than Microsoft. Yeah.
I'm just rubbing it in.
These guys
Microsoft,
know
why are you calling-
productivity. So, I am
Plus, they're going to give us
extremely
$150 million to
pleased
help us
introduce
out.
Corporate Vice President from Microsoft Office, Kurt Koenigsbauer. Kurt?
Thank you. It's a thrill to be here today. At Microsoft, we're focused on reinventing productivity to help people.
Thank you for
do
not
their best
mentioning the
work
huge
anywhere
write-down
they're
we took
working.
on our own
And
Surface
today, more
tablets
than
for the first
ever, we are
generation.
supporting Microsoft Office.
I think you'll have better luck.
I'd like to introduce Hanyi, who's going to walk us through some cool demos. Up on the screen, you'll see a beautiful Microsoft Word document on the gorgeous new iPad Pro. Now, with the Office iPad, we want to make it easy for anyone to create rich content and documents using touch. And so watch a quick example here. We can just, with a few quick taps, take
Yeah,
this
Jason's
table,
pointing out that this is
add
Microsoft
styles,
demonstrating
and turn it
something
into a
on
really,
screen, and
really
we can
great
all see it in the stream.
Now,
When
we wanna
Microsoft did their
extend
IFA
this
announcement, they
richness with
did
the
a
new iPad
long demo of Windows 10, and you never saw the screen. You never saw what they were demoing, just the guy with the hat.
Collaborate with others. And so if you look underneath the ribbon, you'll see we have a variety of new pen
Take
tools.
notes, Microsoft.
There's,
Use that
different
pencil.
pens and pencils. One's a highlighter. You see this fabulous new color wheel, so you can pick just the color that you want.
I'm not
And
recognizing these gestures
so you
in
can
Windows
get the
10
point that
tablets.
you need.
I'm wondering
Now
if we're seeing
watch as
something
we
that's
can
going to
use the
bounce
Apple
back
Pencil
to the Windows
and circle
product.
items in our document. We can strike through, we can add suggestions, and we can write in the margins. And you'll see it's also great for multilingual usage too. Now, because Office is built for teamwork, all of
I mean,
these
for me,
changes
the big thing
stored
is
in the document itself
latency.
and can
You know,
be viewed on
what,
any
that's the
Microsoft
hardest part I have with a pen is it really has to be
Now, the next thing we wanna do
drawing
is
when
add
I'm
a chart to
drawing.
our
But it didn't look like there was much latency at all in those
It doesn't
videos.
look like in the videos. It's hard to tell.
With the art, I mean, with notating is one thing, but to be drawing and have that latency is, I don't know how you do that.
People do it, but I don't understand.
But that's the kind of thing that Apple is really good at. And that was one of the reasons why Apple owned the tablet market for 2 years, because there was very little latency, almost no perceptible latency, whereas competing tablets had this like annoying delay. And they're just really good at that. I think.
Well, and I always felt like until they made the pen and really designed it to work with the OS, I wasn't clear it was going to ever really work.
PowerPoint has great support for the Apple Pencil and for ink. And so watch as we can go ahead.
I wonder if this is going to urge Adobe to finally get in the game and do a really good iOS version of Photoshop.
Well, they've been pushing it pretty hard.
Yeah, I mean, if only to make sure that someone else doesn't jump in and become the freehand art tool standard for iOS.
We want to turn this into a high impact diagram. Now we can use the Apple
But Adobe's been pretty aggressively updating their Photoshop for iOS.
Let's draw 3 circles, and you will see that PowerPoint converts them automatically into shapes. Now, we'll support shape recognition for over 20 different object types. So you can take your hands-on
The pen is great, but I can still use my fingers.
annotations and convert them into professional-looking.
Geez, we're less than
So
45 minutes
this is
in.
the new Microsoft Office on the new iPad. And at Microsoft, we really believe that bringing together
Not a single mention of iPhone
iPad
yet.
Pro with Microsoft Office, the
And we still got
ink,
Apple TV
multitasking
coming.
capabilities will really transform the way people work on these kinds of devices. Thank you very much.
It'll be interesting whether it's iPhone or Apple TV next.
This is why I assumed that this would be its own event, because they got a lot to explain about how this is supposed to be used.
Yeah.
Would like to see what it's like for creative professionals to use iPad Pro in their workflow. And who knows better about creative workflows than our good friends at Adobe.
But that was an
Adobe's
arrow
been
aimed
doing
directly
incredible
at
things
Windows
on
10
iPad
tablets again.
to create
Look,
Right.
Microsoft coming on and saying, here is the app suite that grinds that greases the gears of business.
Yeah.
Why would you want to have a Dell or an Asus tablet?
Yep.
And can do amazing things. So I'm very excited to bring out
speak the devil, Adobe.
Director of Design for Mobile Apps at Adobe, Eric Snowden.
Really?
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm really excited to show you 3 different Adobe applications all working together on the iPad Pro. The first of which is Adobe Comp. And Comp is a design tool that's as easy to use as drawing on a napkin. So by creating an X on the left-hand side of the screen, I'm creating an image placeholder.
It's like the Roman
We have,
emperor having the barbarians come from the remote corners of the empire to kowtow before the Senate or something. I mean, it's like
a rough design. These elements
just
are
say you're
temporarily
killing
grouped
Flash,
together,
drop the
so I
mic
can
and
adjust
leave, man.
them as a group. And so I've gone from nothing to a rough wireframe in about 15 seconds. From there, I want to add real fonts, make this a little bit more high fidelity.
Did you say calm?
This is the first time on a mobile device we've given access to TypeKit fonts. We have over 1,000 fonts.
It's their app for just like doing mock-ups of layouts.
This headline text.
I wonder if they support
change my
product
copy
sans.
to be ruby red, which is the theme for this design. And I'm going to apply some styles to my body copy as well, a simple gesture to copy styles from other objects. And lastly, I want to add a photo from my camera roll. So I've got a rough design here. I'm pretty happy with it, but I'm not quite happy with the model's smile. I wish she had just a little bit more of a smile. I think it'd warm up the design quite a bit.
He's going to use two-finger touch to bring the smile.
So I'm going to go into multitasking mode. And multitasking is amazing on the new iPad Pro. Side by side, it's like having two screens. And I'm going to send this image from Comp into a brand new application called Adobe Photoshop Fix.
CNET is just sent out a tweet quoting Steve Jobs in 2007, quote, "Who wants a stylus? Yuck, nobody wants a stylus. So let's not use a stylus." Unquote.
We're going to hear too much about that. That was typical for, it was correct for 2007 for what they wanted to do. And it's also the reason why he didn't have function keys on the first Mac, why the first mouse from Apple didn't have two buttons. You really have to focus people's attention on not doing things the old wrong way when you're trying to teach them something new. It's time for the iPad to have its own stylus. Because now we know what an iPad is and how it works.
It's also why when Amazon came out with the ebook reader, nobody reads.
And with Sketch, we really do work with Apple Pencil.
And then
which means we wish we had this market right now, but we're not ready yet.
Exactly.
Check back with us in a year.
More water and less pigment. If I use it upright and press harder, I'm laying down
that's a
more
very
pigment and
Trump-style
less water,
quote.
And you can see it blending in real time.
Who reads books anymore? Nobody reads.
Yeah.
Ask anybody. It's a loser market.
Copy this. Close out of multitasking.
Stylus, give me a break. No one wants a stylus.
So with a couple other
I don't use a
small
stylus. I've never used a
finish up
stylus.
this design. And it looks pretty good. I went from a blank page to a design in just a few minutes using 3 different applications together. But I think the most impressive thing out of all this is all this work is non-destructive. So at any point, if I put 3 fingers down on the screen, I can scrub back in my history, back to my blank document, and then all the way back to my final design.
So I'm obliged by my contract to say that is the first woman who's appeared on the screen, and she's a model who they're fixing with Photoshop.
So that was Adobe.
But is she a supermodel like they had on stage with the Apple Watch?
No, just a model who needed to add a little to her smile.
Yeah, exactly.
This workflow is only available.
She's a little too pouty.
See, who says there aren't any women in technology?
Thank you.
For the last demo, we wanted to show you something that really requires the incredible performance of graphics for the iPad Pro and an application that's pretty amazing. It's an application that helps to visualize human anatomy and assists doctors, patients,
We're going after the medical field here.
students in medical school. And to show you this incredible new application and how it runs on iPad Pro, I'm very excited to
Maybe it's like how
bring
they
up
used
the
to get
head of
in
design
doctors in the
and
50s to
3D
recommend
medical,
cigarettes.
Irene
Exactly.
Walker.
You see the white lab coat and you figure this has got to be good for me.
Thank you.
In the average medical consultation, the patient is with the doctor for just 7 minutes, and they only recall 14% of the information they receive. At 3D for Medical, we believe that clear understanding between doctors and patients leads to better healthcare, and ultimately to better patient outcomes. I'm excited to show you how with the new iPad
She's also
Pro,
Irish, so they have
our
a minority on
Complete Anatomy
stage.
series has bridged the communication gap. So let's imagine I'm a doctor. I'm speaking with my patient about their injured knee. I can zoom right into the knee area to show them more
She's playing
about the
doctor.
roles
Is
that
that what she's? What do you mean? Isn't she a
the
doctor?
incredible
I thought they said
CPU
she was
and
a doctor.
increased memory of the new iPad Pro mean that I'm now seeing
I'm
these
really going to be
textures
thinking hard
at
about
double
this.
the resolution
I'm
of
interested
previous versions.
why they're
And with the
talking
poly
about
count of our
not
mesh
just
also doubled,
incidental
I'm
medicine, but like
experiencing
real
new levels
diagnostic
of
medicine. It's a big market, but are these the
Now
people they
let's
want to
turn on
talk to
some
today?
muscles, and we can see how they interact with the skeleton.
And they're the people that can afford it.
True.
The quadriceps
I do think
here
that to
are
a
being
certain extent,
animated
it's
in
kind of a
real
make or
time.
break time
Pixel frames per
for
second.
establishing Apple as the standard for medical stuff generally. That is a massive market, and somebody's going to, doctors and hospitals and researchers, for that matter, they don't swap out platforms quickly or easily. So I think they really, really, really want to get in there.
And I think some of this has to do with there's a lot of money in these kinds of apps, and so because of that, they were developed, and they are probably pushing the platform a little further than a lot of the other ones, just because they could charge $1,000 or $2,000 per user per year to use these, and so that's why. I mean, this is a very advanced app. I can't think of a lot of other apps that are doing as much hardcore calculation and rendering as what we're seeing on this on any area.
Yeah.
Are they also not only talking to doctors, but also talking to baby boomers who are going to need more health care?
I just think that they had more money. These developers had more money to spend on super high-end solutions than we've seen in other industries. And so there's a lot of eye candy there and a lot of data integration there that we're just not seeing yet. And so it hopefully, I think, is inspiring other industries that look at what you can do. Mm-hmm. These ones could do it because, again, ththey're probably charging $1,000 to $2,000 a year for the use per user for this kind of solution. I could be wrong, but I mean wouldn't be out of the game for that.
Also, right now, for this field, the lock-in is up for grabs. So if the industry decides to standardize on iOS instead of Windows, they really got to fight for this right now. They'll lose it in 3 or 4 years' time.
Or using our automatic labeling function.
Eloquently said. The lock-in is up for grabs. Said perfectly. Yeah, that's exactly what this is.
What's really great about this is that I can actually share this exact 3D model with my patient and record a consultation for them to refer to in complete anatomy.
What do you think, Dr. Mom, in the chat room?
We believe that the new iPad Pro and our Complete Anatomy series will transform the way doctors and patients communicate, increasing medical understanding and improving patient care.
I think my only question would be,
the top hospitals and universities.
It seems like that would create a liability to start setting that kind of stuff to your patients. Yeah. This is what it looks like. I mean, unless it was an actual scan, or even then, they don't really want to show you any of that.
Yeah.
So now you've seen the kind of applications that can run on iPad Pro. They are truly transformative. This is the most advanced iPad we've made by a long shot. It's a 12.9-inch Retina display. It's our A9X, third generation 64-bit chip. It has, for the first time, a 4-speaker audio system. Full all-day, 10-hour battery life.
10-hour battery.
It has an 8-megapixel iSight camera. It has a FaceTime HD camera. It has Wi-Fi
Touch ID.
And LTE networking. Of course, our great Touch ID built in. And it's all made in the most environmentally friendly manner possible. A mercury-free LED backlit display, arsenic-free display glass, VFR-free, beryllium-free, PVC-free, and of course, that aluminum glass is highly recyclable.
Yes, but is the pencil
iPad
free?
Pro
That's what
comes in 3 finishes: silver, gold, and space gray. So I know right now you're just thinking,
where's my
how much does it
Rhodes
cost?
Gold?
I want one.
Can I get a
The
wristband
new
for
iPad
that?
Pro starts at just $799.
It is.
That's with 32 gigs of memory.
Slower than I thought.
For 128 gigs, it's 150 more, and there's a configuration with 128 gigs in LTE networking. New iPad Pencil.
Here we go. Oh, I was off.
The new Apple Pencil, $99, and the Smart Keyboard, $169. And they'll all be available.
That's fine. People will buy the pencil in about a month after they buy the original.
$169
for the keyboard. Yep.
Anything like iPad Pro before. We're so excited about it that we created a video to tell you a little bit more about it.
All right, well, this special stream is brought to you. Sorry, Andy. This episode is brought to you by Braintree, code for easy online payments. If you're a mobile app developer, check out Braintree. It's the hottest trend in mobile right now, the use of invisible apps and invisible features. If you've used Uber, for example, you've noticed that the payments process is invisible. You get in the car, you get out of the car, you never interface with the payments process, and that's because they're using Braintree. Some of the biggest unicorns in the industry, like Airbnb, Hotel Tonight, Living Social, and Munchery, all use Braintree to make payments super, super easy. They let you, with just a few lines of code, to accept MasterCard, American Express, Discover, Diners Club, PayPal, Apple Pay, Venmo, Visa. You can even accept Bitcoin in more than 130 currencies. And it's just a fantastic way to go. It's super easy for your customers. It's super easy for you to implement. And of course, it solves the biggest problem in payments, which is mobile cart abandonment. People start to pay for your product or service, and then they wander away because it's too time consuming, too difficult, too confusing, or whatever. And Braintree eliminates all that, and it's the way to go. No minimum or monthly fees, no red tape. You only pay for the transactions you process. So check out Braintree. It's the way to integrate mobile payments into your app or your website. To learn more and to try out the sandbox, go to braintreepayments.com/twit. Back to the video.
Now I'm kind of curious as to where they're going to put the iPhone announcements in the schedule now, because it will really feel like an anticlimax, particularly if the Apple TV is what we expect it to be. Maybe iPhone will be next and then Apple TV.
What will be the one more thing?
One more thing. Yeah, we got a new iPhone.
That's been trademarked now. They can't
Also,
say
we
that.
found the guy responsible for Apple TV, and we'll let you all shoot paintballs at him at 12-foot range. Here you go.
And doubling the touch refresh.
And no, he's not wearing a cup.
It's actually the most advanced display.
One more thing, we'd like to announce that we've made a key strategic acquisition. We have purchased Hollywood.
Of any iOS device.
So whose Apple Watch just told them to stand up?
I turned that feature off.
You did?
Yeah. The display is refreshed.
I just love it. For some reason, it tells me to stand up like right after my alarm goes off. My alarm goes off at like 5 o'clock in the morning. 5:15, it's like, it's time to stand up. I'm like, really?
Well, I have a standing desk, and after standing there for 2 hours, it told me it's time to stand up. It's like, what do you want from me?
It wants a lot.
It wants a lot.
Your soul, for one.
I'm not going to stand for that.
Designed for iPad Pro and to meet the demands of a much larger display. Its size lets you do
It's so big you can fit lower, Midtown Manhattan in it.
And its precise multi-touch technology.
You can put the whole universe.
Of input.
I'm surprised it's so expensive, but maybe not so surprised seeing how much they tried to sell this to the medical community. I really assumed this would be a gap device between the iPad Air and the MacBook Air. But I guess the cheapest one is kind of underneath the cheapest MacBook.
Yep. Now, if they could only pull off actually seeing the sound waves like that, that'd be really cool.
Look at all them batteries. Look how small the CPU board is.
Yeah.
Output and dynamic range that far surpasses its size.
Oh my God, they already got the Martian footage. That's classy.
With people using iPad,
how close did they come to getting the Fantastic Four for this demo?
To enhance its flexibility. To do this, we've developed a new technology. Its magnetic contacts relay both.
A lot of people are going to like that keyboard. Again, it's there for you if you really don't want any added bulk and you're not going to be doing lots of work.
Without the need.
But given that iOS 9 has much better support for Bluetooth keyboards, like actual hardware app switching and stuff like that, I don't think it's going to be a problem for anybody. If you want to really be pounding out 1,000 words an hour on this, there are plenty of solutions available to you.
Do we think that smart connector will do anything else besides connect to the keyboard?
I don't know. I hadn't really thought about that.
More creative.
Maybe, well, you see in a lot of medical facilities, you see tablets that are docking into carts with extra instrumentation. Maybe there's a data connection that you can do just by you're walking around with this as your clipboard, and then you simply drop it into this bedside scanner device. Who knows?
That is the new iPad Pro, and we could not be more excited about it. It's the flagship in our iPad line. And starting today, this is what the iPad line looks like. We've now moved iPad Mini 2 down to become our entry-level iPad at a new lower price, just $269. Above it is the brand new iPad Mini 4 that we're also launching today. So what's the iPad Mini 4? Well, simply, we've taken the power and performance of iPad Air 2 and built it into an even smaller mini enclosure. It's just 0.65 pounds, incredibly powerful and yet small and light. iPad Air starts at $399.
Holy subtitle.
The
Like,
iPad Pro
and that's what we did.
at $799. And so that's our news about
They're
iPad.
doing the same thing they did with the
Thank you very
iPod.
much.
With the iPod, which is that they're basically they've created a trajectory about as low as you want to go all the way up, and made it very difficult for anyone to get in above $269.
Yeah,
that really leaves very little air in the market.
Developers and customers do with it.
No pun intended.
Next up, I'd like to talk about an even larger screen. And that is your TV.
It's Apple TV.
There you have it.
Wow. So basically, the iPhone is going to have to follow the Rolling Stones and the Beatles
in our lives, and it occupies an important place in our homes where we gather and enjoy it together. There's more great content being created today for TV than ever before. It really is the golden age of television. But as important as TV is, the TV experience itself
I'm going to start saying it like he does. Important. Important.
In fact, the television experience has been virtually standing still while innovation has been thriving in the mobile space led by iPhone and iPad.
and also at Roku and also at Amazon and places not Apple.
Something about that.
Innovation stands still until Apple gets into the market.
Yeah. Please own the fact that the Apple TV sucked. It sucks, and it didn't have to suck for the past 2 years.
And our vision for TV is simple and perhaps a little provocative. We believe the future of television is apps. In fact, this transition has already begun.
No, that's the present of television on the Roku, but continue.
We're spending more and more time on our computers and mobile devices, enjoying great TV content through apps such as iTunes and Netflix and Hulu.
We've only been talking about this on the show since
over 60% of the
Apple
pay
TV came out.
streaming video is consumed on an Apple device, and all of this is consumed through an app. And when you experience TV in this way through an app, you realize just how much better
How
it can
bad
be.
the Apple TV is.
Now, you can search for what you want. You can watch it
We're going
when
up, down, down,
and where
side,
you
side,
want.
up, down,
And
down,
you can
side, side.
interact with it in incredibly powerful new
I know
ways.
we're being mean, Tim. We're sorry.
To deliver on this vision, we need a new foundation for TV, one that's built on powerful hardware, that runs a modern operating system, that provides a new user experience that's fun and easy to use,
and has super high margins.
that has powerful tools and APIs so developers can create apps that are amazing just like in the mobile space.
Well, I think that they're going to obviously talk about the home,
that has
but I
an
think
app
that
store
the
so that
real
customers
developer
can
tools,
easily
when you look at
find those
enterprise,
apps
medical,
and personalize their
schools,
TV
I mean, the Apple TV could be
experience so it's better
huge.
than ever before. We know this is what it takes. And we've been working really hard and really long to bring all of these together. Today, I'm thrilled to show you the new Apple TV.
Siri, show me something new.
Yeah, Mark Gurman already showed this to me.
You are jaded, Mike Elgan.
Oh, there it is. Yep.
Wow. New girl.
Show me family movies.
Animated only.
Come on, Apple. There has to be a really big payoff here.
I like Siri on the TV. That's a big payoff for me.
No, I'm sorry. I like it, but
You want more? I get it.
I mean, we've seen voice searching. I hope this is just the start of the demo, but we'll see more.
Anything with Jason Schwartzman.
Spit up the gum, sister.
Somebody really likes Jason Bourne.
I mean, I'm kind of bummed to see the same grid of posters, but I'm sure we'll see how that's different and better now.
So the controller is also a game controller.
And he was using it, like tilting it to, we knew there would be half the sensors, but.
Yeah, so now we can lose our remote, our game controller, and our pencil.
Right. Don't lose the pencil on the couch, though. That
Right.
could be painful.
This is the new
My sofa cushion
Apple
now has a
TV.
value of $430.
And we believe it is the future of television. To tell you all about it, I'd like to invite my colleague up, Eddie Q. Eddie?
Thanks, Tim. The new Apple TV starts with a powerful set-top box and
Okay,
a
Eddie,
revolutionary
that shirt's a bit much.
remote.
Not for Eddie
It's got
Q,
an
it's not.
incredible new user interface. It's
been
built
spending
on
too
a
much time in
modern
LA.
OS. With an iPhone, you interact directly on the screen, and we wanted to bring the same connected experience to your television, even though it's across the room.
I hope the remote is more comfortable
And to
than the
do
old
that,
one.
It starts with voice and with touch. The new remote has a glass touch surface across the top that makes it both fluid and precise to move around. We have a great touch experience, and you can easily glide across.
See, what I'm talking about, the difficulty is that there are a lot of things that are voice controllable, but they're not necessarily easier to use via voice than simply by navigating a menu. So they have to solve that problem. They can't just simply say, we've added Siri.
The Siri remote does exactly that. You hold down the Siri button and you ask for something. Show me funny TV shows. Siri gives you a list of comedies.
Like, how many times when people are watching TV do they know specifically what they want to see, as opposed to, I want to see what new YouTube videos are on for my subscriptions. I want to see what Netflix has recommended for me. I don't know what it is yet.
And you get all of the details. Seasons, episodes, and all of the screens have been redesigned. They look beautiful, and they focus on the content. Now today, when you're looking for a particular TV show or movie, you have to search and open each and every app to see which one has it. Well, with Siri, it'll search across multiple content apps and give you all your viewing options on a single screen.
What Mark Gurman at 9to5 Mac and BuzzFeed called universal search.
It's really
Again,
cool.
we've seen that before in other
We'll search
platforms.
iTunes,
Yep.
Yeah, you can do that on the Roku, except you can't search iTunes.
HBO, and Showtime. And we'll be adding even more over
I don't mean to be Debbie Downer, but I think it's part of our responsibility to say, as they're saying, we're innovating, we're creating, we're solving problems.
From the Apple TV team.
You're expecting them to say, I know you've seen this before, but here's why our version is better.
Wah, wah, wah,
That's your responsibility. You do that job really well. I don't have to do that.
I'm really excited to be the very first one to show you the new Apple TV, starting off with
Who
our
is this?
gorgeous new screensavers.
Someone
it
that
looks
works
like
at
a
Apple.
photo, right? But do you see the Cars movie? Let's look at another one. This is all high-def video that we've shot
But not 4K.
exclusively for Apple TV.
I'm confused.
Each slow-motion shot reveals the scene in a way that is truly captivating.
Why did they have to go shoot their own video?
We've included some stunning locations
new
from around
screensavers.
the world. And Apple TV will automatically play just the day or night shots.
But seriously, am I going to keep my TV turned on just to see screensavers are going to get boring after 8 minutes?
Okay,
That's silly.
now let's dive in by pressing the home button. So here I am on the home screen. I have access to movies and TV shows on iTunes. One of the great new things on Apple TV is the App Store. Of course, I have access to my photos.
It's okay if they keep the same grid, so long as the
And
controls
we've
are
added
make it
Apple
more
Music.
natural.
Now,
But again, I'm
I
surprised
talked
we're seeing
about
something so
the
familiar.
Fantastic new ways to interact with Apple TV. And with touch, I can just swipe across my apps. Can swipe up to top movies and notice the 3D effect on the artwork as I move around. It's easy to swipe one by one, or a quick swipe to go all the way across. It's fast and fluid. The movie poster follows the movement of my thumb on the remote. Really makes it come to life.
That's
Now, the other great way to interact with Apple TV is with my voice. And with Siri, it's easy to find exactly what I want to watch. Like when my favorite actor makes a guest appearance in a TV show. Show that Modern Family episode with Edward Norton.
I was waiting for Matt Damon because it was like a Matt Damon show.
Yeah.
Siri takes me right to the Modern Family page
Jimmy
with
Kimmel.
the episode I was looking for already selected.
See, I would definitely use that for play the
I
new
just clicked
episode
the
of
play.
Project Runway. Because with the Roku, I still have to figure out, does Hulu get that first? Does the Lifetime app get that first? So that's actually cool.
Now, touch also makes it really easy to move through the show. I just click and swipe. Let's see if we can find Edward Norton's cameo.
But she's obviously had to pay for this, right? There was no.
Oh, I think I saw him. Oh, yeah, there he is.
Oh, come on, man. She's not your sister. Give her
It was a good episode.
I could use Siri during playback as well. Skip ahead 7 minutes.
What do you think, Andy?
That's nice.
I just missed what was
Sorry, they've set up new stanchions
What
for the
did she
line, and
say?
I've been asked to move from one place to another. So
Siri will skip
once
back
again, I'm coming at you
15
live
seconds
from the
and
line for the
temporarily
Colbert Show.
turn on the captions.
But yeah, what's going to make this work out great is if they figure out language that is really handy. Like I want to get ahead of a boring scene, so skip ahead 7 minutes is actually a really good thing to have. But if I have to now remember the exact name of every show that I want to see to actually get there, that might not be the best thing.
I really like Skyfall. How about a Bond film?
Or
The James
Walking
Bond
Dead.
ones.
Skip ahead to the next machete scene.
I'm in the mood for a classic. Just the ones with Sean Connery. With Siri.
Are there any scenes in which Sean Connery appears naked or
With Siri,
like in
I
his
can easily
Zardoz
filter my
costume?
search based on cast, director.
This is a
date,
big challenge for
even
them because this is something that Google does extremely well, and Apple is still learning how to do this kind of really natural language search that produces great results. So that would be a really big new technology for them.
But these are the kind of tricks we've seen in Apple Music, and I think they're just tricks. Like I don't use them on a regular basis. Like I don't use Apple Music. I don't use Siri to find specific songs, by specific artists the way that they were showed off.
Yeah.
Maybe other people do.
I agree with you.
And this is one of the applications for all of those AI researchers that we reported this week that Apple has been gobbling up, draining the nation's universities of its top AI people.
I mean, it'd be nice if they had some of the juice that Amazon puts into the Fire tablets, where they've really got everything marked up scene by scene. Where you could say, give me the scene in which William Daniels sings in 1776, and it knows what all the musical scenes are.
Yeah.
Quick access to info and other settings. Just swipe up when I'm done. I can ask Siri information about the movie too. Who stars in this? Siri will answer on the bottom of the screen to avoid disrupting what I'm watching. It's great for getting in-the-moment info like sports
That's
scores.
pretty cool.
How did the San Francisco Giants do yesterday?
Now, one of the things that I think that at some point someone's going to do, or Apple will start to tie together, is tying together your phone or your iPad with the TV, so that when you're watching all that contextual information, and you really have that second screen experience where you're able to actually get that information or chats or interact with a live show from a second screen that is totally integrated. And Apple's probably in the best position to do that.
Yep.
A lot of people are trying to do it by using the audio or whatever, but having two apps that you own that know what the other one's doing puts Apple in the best position to solve that.
So you'd use your iPad and say, who is this actor instead of
if you're talking to someone, say, what's and so all that information would pop up. Or what if you were able to ask questions, vote on questions, do all that stuff while you're watching the show, and it's showing up on the news. Like they could be using the app to do that.
So you probably wouldn't have guessed it, but I'm actually quite a metalhead, and this is one of my favorite bands. All right, just a click of the home button, and I'm back on the home screen.
I mean, you could imagine like saying, "Hey, send your video comments in," and literally, if you're watching the show, it mutes the TV. You ask the question, you hit go, it sends it back to CNN. They post it up. Like all of that kind of stuff can be done. I mean,
thanks, Jen. That was incredible. The new Apple
That was
TV
incredible.
is so much fun to use. And you also have access to all of the great content on the existing Apple TV. But we've redesigned all of our apps. iTunes Movies, iTunes TV, and we've even brought Apple Music to the big screen with over 30 million songs.
So far, it looks nice. It looks like a long overdue Apple TV being brought into 2015. I'm not seeing anything exceptional yet.
the next step is going to be the games. Games and apps. So they're just saying we've updated so far now it's just like, we made everything a little bit smoother. But I agree with you. This is, incremental.
Here it comes.
Change what we expect from and do on our iPhones
Games.
and iPads.
I'm wondering if they have apps in mind other than games and streaming apps.
We're
That would be
introducing
cool.
a brand new operating system for your Apple TV called tvOS. It's based on iOS and built for the living room. And developers are going to love it because it's really easy to create apps. They use familiar tools like Xcode, and they have access to great iOS technologies like Metal, Game Center, UI Kit.
She said she was a big Metal fan.
And with over 11 million developers,
That sound you heard was
we
a
can't
million
wait to see what
developers
apps they bring
screenshotting
to
that
the
one
big
frame.
screen. Now, we've given some developers early access, and I'd like to show you some of the cool new apps that they're working on. Great custom experiences from content apps like Netflix.
Be interesting to see if YouTube ends
Beautiful
up here.
imagery and a great UI from HBO.
If they don't have YouTube, it's game over.
Primetime television shows from Hulu. Incredible games like Galaxy on Fire, Rayman Adventures, and even games that have only been available
Maybe they'll
on
have it, but they
consoles,
won't show it off
like the
today.
new Disney
Or maybe
Star
it's an app
Wars
that
game called Disney
Google
Infinity,
doesn't
one of my
want Apple TV to have.
Right.
But that's a huge down if
Activision
it
is
doesn't
bringing
have
the new
YouTube.
Guitar Hero to Apple TV.
Remember
Shadow
that
This is an
Android Wear
imaginative
doesn't
puzzle
work with HealthKit, and it's only because Google decided not to implement it. It's not something Apple did. So there could be a lot of fussing around going on here.
Zova, a fitness app that works with your Apple Watch. Madefire, a whole new way to enjoy your comic books. And you can even sit your whole family around the TV and plan your next vacation with Airbnb. And when you're looking for
They
a new
didn't say
home,
that was Comixology,
Zillow.
did they? They said Panel Flyer?
Now, I'd like to give you some live demos of a few new apps. And first up, I'd like to invite up Andy Sum from Hipster Whale.
Thanks, Eddie. Crossy Road is an endless arcade hopper that's been downloaded over 40 million times on iOS. 3 months ago, we received an Apple Design Award. And as a small indie studio from Melbourne, we're thrilled to be able to bring our game to the living room. We're super excited to be here today to show all of you for the first time.
My son was showing me how good he was at
much fun
Crossy
it
Road.
is to play
And I
Crossy
was like,
Road.
yeah, I was pretty good at Frogger when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And he just
The new
looked at me
remote
blankly like,
allows
huh?
natural controls.
But you
that
weren't
Tom
forced to
swipes
watch
to hop
ads
left
in
and right.
Frogger every hour in order to
Clicks
keep
jump
playing,
forward.
as our children are.
This gives you
Can't you buy it?
to dodge cars,
I guess so.
I think you can buy it without
leap
the
across logs,
ads.
and even hop past
I don't think there's any ads on
fast-moving
ours. Like,
trains.
I'm not a real freemium
Tom,
person.
go.
I pretty much just like, I'll pay you to not do that. Very quickly.
Or not. We've still included all the hilarious characters you know and love, like Chicken, Mallard, Emo Goose, and Diddy
That's
Go.
another interesting idea. If this is going to be
But every
games,
day,
as in we're
we
going
get
to take our
stories of
mobile
players
iPhone games and
laughing
make them
together
work on Apple TV, or whether we're going to start building this as though it's its own gaming platform.
We're announcing
Well, obviously, I think that the first games that get over there are going to be all ones that were already. I mean, like I think it'd be fun to play Angry Birds and Field Runners and so on and so forth on a big screen. Angry Birds probably more than Field Runners.
my favorite character, the Mallard.
But will it be like Apple Watch, where you buy one version of the app and then it articulates itself on other devices that you
Oh,
have?
right.
Or will I
Yeah.
have to buy an Apple TV version of it?
Right.
It's what we were talking about with Minecraft. I want more games on the TV rather than all of the children being in their separate rooms on their own devices, being, absorbed in their own device. It makes it more, this is what they're saying, like bring the family together, play Crossy Road together.
Right.
That's a great
As long as one
idea.
of you is still
That's a good
hopping
observation.
along, the team will
Thank you.
continue to rack up points. Now,
But I mean, like for instance, another interesting one would be something like, which they've done a little bit now with the iPads and so on and so forth. But having iPhones, you can play Scrabble, where everyone has their
and this is
iPhone
where
and
Crossy
you
Road
have
on
your
the new
little
Apple TV
letter
really
bar,
shines.
and you can throw them up, which we've done. They already have that working on the iPad. So.
Yeah.
Come on, mate. It's just so much fun to push.
It's a lot
and
of
block
pressure
your
to play
friends.
that on stage.
Well, that's what I was talking about. It's more of like the whole family's involved.
you're
It doesn't
playing
need to be
classic
on, it can be on a tiny
cooperatively
device,
or
but
competitively, we
the more
really think
time
you're
we
gonna
spend
love
alone
Crossy
on our
Road
tiny
in your living room.
devices, the
And
less
it'll
we
be
are a
available from
society.
the new Apple TV app.
But Mom, I'm social networking on Snapchat with the teacher.
Thanks. It's great to see a classic iOS game now on your Apple TV. Now I'd like to turn to a whole brand new game, and I'd like to invite up John Carter from Harmonix.
Harmonix.
Thanks, Eddie.
Anybody ever heard of Harmonix?
Good morning.
With Rock Band, Harmonix brought music games to living rooms around the world. Now, Apple TV has allowed us to mix music with another passion the whole family can share. With me is Mike Fitzgerald, and on behalf of the team, we are thrilled to introduce Beat Sports, a collection of games for the whole family designed specifically and exclusively for Apple TV. All right, this guy here is Throwbot. Watch how Mike hits his rhythmic pitches by actually swinging the remote. The better his timing, the higher his score. Harmonix games let everyone interact with music, regardless of your musical background. And the new remote makes that interaction more intuitive than it's ever been. Beat Sports
It's interesting how
the joy of
it really
hitting
is getting
balls with
like
the joy of hitting
a level of,
notes.
you can really do any of the Wii,
beautifully
style
animated
games, with that little controller. And you can throw it through your, kitchen window just as easily.
Right.
They're going to have I wonder if they have like one of those little eyelets for something to attach your remote control to your wrist.
Left and right. Beat Sports will make
There's going to be
you
somebody,
fall in love with the new remote.
had to go to the hospital because someone
You'll
threw a
swing,
controller
swipe,
into their
tap,
head.
and
Yeah.
To help Lil dominate her alien adversaries.
So a lot of presentations get tethered because of Wi-Fi signals not working. There's so many people there, so a lot of they have special versions of. A lot of companies have special versions of their hardware, and the companies that don't do that are the ones that have failures up on stage. But if you own the hardware, you can usually build a direct link to just ensure that you're getting a hardware solution or hardware connection.
All right, this looks serious.
Yeah, because otherwise you just don't know if you're going to, especially if it's using Wi-Fi or Bluetooth. There are so many Wi-Fi and Bluetooth in the room, they can't manage it.
So that looked like a pretty solid showing to me. So let's see how Mike's performance actually rates. A gold medal. Have you played this before? As we all know, music games are the most fun when you play with friends. So we've made sure to include support for up to 4 simultaneous players.
I am interested to see if they're going to say, "Hey, you can use your iPhone too," because it's fine to have these little controllers, but what you really want is to I don't know what I really want is to be able to just use my iPod or iPhone to interact with it.
Well, if you only have one, you need more than one.
Oh, did he say that?
Thanks.
Of course, I was talking about it, not listening.
But what about shopping on your couch? For that, I'd like to invite up Michelle Peluso from Gilt.
That's perfect. Yes, throw. Yeah, so you can throw your iPad.
Gilt is the go-to destination for stylish shoppers around the world. Every day, we give our more than 9 million members insider access to top fashion deals at up to 70% off. And Apple customers love Gilt. 80% of our mobile sales come from iOS devices.
I'm going to guess that they're not going to talk about 4K, but I would be surprised if it's not capable of it. I bet you that they built it. You can with an upgrade. They just don't want to talk about all the development for 4K right now.
Right. Your living room on the new Apple TV. Let's take a look.
But if the phone does 4K and the Apple TV doesn't do 4K, it's weird.
Yep. And now with the new Apple TV, we can do that together from the comfort of our own home. Let's start with my husband.
Instantly, they're handing out free ice cream at 9. That's why I couldn't talk to you.
At least you have your priorities straight.
And he's having his one more thing.
Yes.
It is an interesting thing here to be on the. So they are switching now from games to you can go shopping.
Mm-hmm. Virtual fashion show right from home. Now, Mark and I love this John Barbados sport coat. So as we selected to see more detail, not only is it a great price off retail, but look at these images. We can take full advantage of Gilt's high-resolution photography.
I mean, this is the
silhouette of
end,
jacket,
the final nail in the coffin for
most of all,
for all those catalogs to show at my parents' house.
cool leather trim around the cuff with a zigzag stitching.
If only.
Mark and I quickly
They'll keep sending them.
And they kind of like it. You sit at the kitchen table and just switch through it.
How fabulous Mark is going to look.
But I guess the only one that I don't think they'd ever give it is wireless. The wireless, the little one. Because how could you make wireless be?
Fall festive party dress sale. Again,
when I pick up the mail out of the mailbox, my first stop is the recycle bin on my way to the front door.
Think this
Just
pink
throw all the
Kate
junk
Spade
in
dress
there.
would be perfect for her. And now with the new Apple TV remote, we can click play and preview the details without having to go to the product
The good news
page.
is that I no longer have to stand in front of the crowd, so I
Auden
can find a quieter
loves
place.
the cool rhinestones, and I love the fact that it's
Oh, look,
clean
it's a phone
lines
booth.
and
No one's
an
gonna be standing
adorable
here.
Peter Pan collar. And once again, with a simple buy now, Mark and Auden are all set for the wedding. Apple's innovation has always been great for guilt, helping us make shopping cooler, faster, and more exciting. And we believe
Always been great
the
for
new
guilt.
Apple
They've been
TV
predicting-
will make
They've been predicting shopping on
Without
TV
a-
since 1953.
Yeah.
Has anybody ever really wanted this, though?
your living
Yeah.
room on the new Apple TV. Thank you and happy shopping.
Of course, what you want to see there is the Amazon app. Like that'll be, and Amazon will build an app for
Yes.
this, and that will be.
Clearly, that's going to be a big hit in my house.
Yeah, for Siri, if you can say,
Next, I'd like to
"Hey
show you
Shlomo,
something that's
order
really
me
gonna change
another
the
50
way
pounds
we
of pet supplies,"
I'd like to bring you Chad Evans with Major League Baseball.
like what the Amazon Echo does.
Thank you. We're incredibly excited to be here today to share our vision for how Apple TV can enhance the way fans experience live sports. This is my favorite part of the baseball season. It's the pennant races, and teams are battling it out to see who will make the postseason.
Well, you can always tell if somebody is a technical or a programmer or an engineer if
It's the last day of the regular season.
if their hands are in unison with the gestures.
If you only want to watch the best plays, you can simply swipe right for highlights.
That was pretty cruel. Some of us aren't in any
So it looks
any
like
race,
the Mets
pennant
have a
races
really
of any
big
kind.
match against the Nationals. So let's watch that game now. As you can see, the picture's absolutely stunning. You're getting full HD video. And because of the power of Apple TV, we can now, for the first time, stream at an amazing 60 frames a second. But if you're a baseball fan, you really
Like
want
this show.
stats. So with one click of your Apple TV remote, we can pull up a ton of live data synced to the TV broadcast.
And again, this is great, but I would rather most of us if we have an Apple TV, we have an iPad or an iPhone. I want that. I don't really want to, because then everybody in the room is like, oh, I can't believe you just did that.
So let's say you're
You know?
watching the Mets, but over in the AL East, the Blue Jays are also trying to clinch the division title. Well, MLB TV can send you a look-in notification so you never miss a moment. And the best part is when you open the notification, we can take you straight to split screen. So you can watch both games at the same time. All you have to do is swipe back and forth to change your focus. And of course, it's really easy to zoom in to watch the big play.
Of course, it'd be really great if this was 4K and those are 210p streams. I'm just saying.
It would also be great if Apple could actually deliver the game, which we're going to have to wait till next year.
By the way, if you're a hockey fan, we'll be launching NHL Game Center Live for Apple TV in 2016. Thank you.
But they're all going that way. NFL, NHL, and they're all like slowly taking over their destiny.
Yep.
That really shows you the power of Apple TV. You take a linear video, just a baseball game, and now you make it interactive. You get access to stats. You get
I,
notifications.
for one, would love to
You can
see
switch
Eddie
games,
Q
you
with
can
his own
watch
reality
multiple
show.
games
What do you
at the same
think?
time. It's really,
I don't know
really
if you
great.
really want to see that.
And you'll be able to get all of these apps and more right on the App Store, right on your Apple TV. And the App Store is just as easy to use
You going to buy
as
one
it
of
is on
these,
the
Megan?
iPhone.
The Apple TV?
Got top charts.
I don't
used
know.
by categories,
I don't know if it does any
beautiful
more than my
product pages
Roku besides Siri
show you screenshots
that I really
and one
need.
tap to download. Now,
But
for
I might
developers,
have to
they
for
can create
review
universal
purposes.
Yeah.
I might be
Yeah.
forced
Yeah.
to as part of my job.
It's deductible.
Yes.
and your Apple TV.
I know. I do like the gaming aspect. I do like the aspect of bringing
Get home,
the family
you start
together
right
more.
where you left off, right on your television. It's really
I bet a lot of people, though, are thinking, remember what Steve Jobs was saying to Isaacson, that, hey, we finally cracked it on TV, that if this shows, and if this is what he was talking about, or whether he was talking about a different product that never actually saw the light of day.
we've ever done. You've got a 64-bit A chip.
I'm guessing it was
It's got all
probably
the
just
latest
Siri
wireless
at that point,
technologies, and
which
it's just 10
Apple was very
millimeters
excited
tall.
about
On
back
the
then.
back, you've got power, HDMI, and Ethernet. And of course, it comes with the new Siri remote. Now, it communicates via Bluetooth, so there's no need
So is that
to
the
point
official
the
branding
remote
for the
to
remote,
Apple
the
TV
Siri
box.
remote?
It'll even control. I like that too.
Bluetooth is a great
It'll
feature.
even
It means you don't have
control
to
your
aim it. It's
TV's
just,
volume. So this
you don't
is
even
the
have to
only
raise
remote
your
you
hand
need.
up. You can just
It'll
be
even
completely
turn the
limp on the
TV on
sofa.
or your AV receiver on and switch
While your
the
Apple
inputs
Watch
via
desperately
CC.
tries to convince you to move.
Got a
The Siri remote says, no, just stay here.
And if you listen to the Siri remote, then of course they have HealthKit
To recharge it,
tapped into your
lightning
doctor.
connector right on the bottom.
Yeah, Bluetooth is nice because whenever our 100-pound dog walks in front of the Roku, I can't change the channel. It's a real hassle.
Seriously?
Yes.
That's a big dog. Yep, that's exactly what the rumors said, $149 and $199.
Joins the existing Apple TV at $69. Now, in addition, we are really thrilled to announce that tvOS is available for developers today.
I gotta say, I wasn't really impressed with this demo.
And it's great.
Sorry, did I miss it? When did they say that?
Today. Right now,
It's the Apple TV selling it?
No. All of the new hardware today.
Developer kit.
Customers will be able to
They
get
didn't
the
say
new
we're an
Apple
Apple
TV starting in October, and it'll be available in over 80 countries and 100 countries by the end of the year. And that is the new Apple TV, the foundation for the future of television. Touch, Siri, great content, and incredible apps. We think you're really going to love it. Thank you, and I'd like to turn it back to Tim.
It's possible the iPad Pro was the really big thing of this event
This
so
is
far.
the future of television.
Yeah,
Or at least for me.
Now.
And people were not sure if they were even talk about it.
Is iPhone.
Yeah. Again, it really surprised me. But just goes to show you just can't predict these things unless you're Mark Gurman.
iPhone has been embraced by
Except you're not
customers
predicting, someone told you.
around the
Because
world.
you're a better
and
journalist.
It's growing by leaps and bounds, not only in the United States, but in all corners of the planet, from India to Turkey to Spain.
Wow,
In
that's
fact,
the first time
at
they've
worldwide
talked
level
about
last
India and
quarter,
Turkey and
iPhone
non-Chinese
grew at
countries.
3.5 times the rest of the industry. This is truly remarkable.
They really are trying to build a presence in India. It's just such a different way of selling phones
And
than what
in
they can do right
China,
now.
it's even more incredible. iPhone grew a stunning 75%.
Yeah, they
versus the
had
rest
they
of
had
the
to start
industry
talking about
in
China, so-
decline. iPhone 6 and iPhone 6 Plus have been truly amazing. It's been a phenomenal year. iPhone 6 is the most popular iPhone ever. In fact, these are the most popular phones in the world. But more important to us, they are the most
expensive
loved phones in the world, with customer satisfaction literally off the charts and far above any other phone. Thank you.
By the way, anybody doing a presentation should watch the Apple one a couple times about how you use
how
Keynote.
do you follow a success like this?
Yeah. Notice.
I've got that question.
You know, if you know,
not
but
all
if
up
the
at one
Siri remote
time.
is
I am thrilled to
if the
show
Siri
you
remote is Bluetooth, I wonder if you can
newest
actually use it as a Keynote controller with other devices, because that would be huge and fantastic.
Oh yeah, Keynote being an app on the Apple TV, that would be saucy.
The phone also has screensavers, apparently.
Pink.
Tell us all about the new iPhone 6S. I'd like to invite onto the stage Mark Gurman. Sure.
You think maybe Mark Gurman is actually like Slugworth, where he's being positioned as like the person who Apple hates, but actually they're an agent of Apple.
The iPhone
Yes.
6S and the iPhone 6S Plus. We are driven to innovate at Apple. You've seen that all morning. And no product is more about innovation than the iPhone. From the very start, the iPhone has been about bringing innovations that are really important in people's daily lives. And as a result, iPhone has changed the world. What we have to show you today is really awesome. And while they may look familiar, we have changed everything about these new iPhones. The team has worked incredibly hard to deliver new capabilities that are truly meaningful in our lives. The iPhones you are about to see are the
That's a nice
most
Don Draper
advanced
line.
iPhones ever. And in fact, they are the most
I'm waiting for 1 year where they say,
advanced
this is not the best iPhone ever, but this is the best we could do.
Right.
To walk you through them, I'd
But
like
it's
to
toasted.
invite Phil back up to the stage. Phil?
We're just gonna cut the price on this year because it just, you know.
I am truly honored to represent all of the incredible teams at Apple that worked so hard on this product and be the one to present them to you now. Because these new iPhones are absolutely beautiful, the most incredible iPhones we've ever made. This is the brand new rose gold aluminum finish. And while it may look the same, this is an entirely new aluminum. It is an Apple custom alloy of 7000 series aluminum, the same alloys that are used in the aerospace industry.
Is it custom or is it the same?
The new iPhone 6S comes in 4 metal finishes: silver, gold, space gray, and the new rose gold. And it comes in 2 sizes: the iPhone 6S with its 4.7-inch Retina display, and the 6S Plus with its 5.5-inch Retina display. And those displays are covered by a brand new glass that's the strongest in the industry. It's made with a dual ion exchange process, and they're incredibly durable. Perhaps the most profound feature iPhone has ever brought to the world is multi-touch. Right? Multi-touch has changed how we interact with our devices. It taught us about pinch and zoom and swipe. And it's truly a profound innovation. So our team's been hard at work trying to imagine how you take multi-touch to the next generation and further deliver a new experience that's just as profound.
Microsoft had
as
the original
first
Surface tablet on the market
multi-touch.
before iPhone came
And they've
out, so.
really done it. It's called 3D Touch. 3D Touch is a tremendous breakthrough in interacting with our devices. We have a great video to introduce it to you now.
So that implies not just force, but exactly how much force. So less like
With
Apple Watch
iPhone
and
and
more like the
multi-touch,
MacBook trackpad.
we introduced a whole new way to interact with technology. Tapping, swiping, and pinching have forever changed the way we navigate and experience our digital world. Until now, these gestures have been defined by a singular plane in 2-dimensional space. For iPhone 6S and 6S Plus, we're introducing an entirely new interaction and a whole new dimension to the way you experience your iPhone.
I'd love to know whether you can use the pen with the new iPhone.
Yeah, or the Apple TV. You know, on the little remote.
Not the pen. The pen.
By a
Pencil.
technology called 3D Touch. This is the next generation of multi-touch. For the first time, along with recognizing familiar gestures, iPhone also recognizes force.
Also recognizes unfamiliar gestures.
Enabling new gestures, peek and pop.
But will you please explain the difference between a force touch and a long press? What do I expect to happen when I do each of these
To
things?
the things you do frequently. It
And what's the
also
difference
works
between a
with
peek
Siri
and a pop?
applications themselves. Press lightly, and it gives you a peek at the
This could be nothing more than a peek and a poke.
Immediately did
You
it.
get it?
Pops you into the content itself. Sensors embedded in the display read how hard you're pressing and react in a smooth, linear way. This is a dynamic system.
That's why they have the
deeply
7000
integrated
aluminum,
into
so you don't
iOS
bend the
and
phone when you're peeking and popping.
That must have been an interesting part of testing. When you get really angry and frustrated, you are not going to be as gentle. And so to basically squeeze the middle of this pane of glass in this large iPhone 6 Plus,
letting you know
there must have been a lot of testing for that.
and what to expect. While the way that you use 3D Touch is simple, the engineering behind it is some of our most advanced. At its heart are capacitive sensors integrated into the backlight of the
Apple
Retina
decided to beat
HD
iFixit
display.
to the teardown video.
With each press, these sensors measure microscopic changes in the distance between the cover glass and the backlight. These measurements are then combined with signals from the touch sensor and accelerometer to provide fast, accurate, and continuous response to finger pressure.
So this is how the Apple Watch works, isn't it? And not how the iPad, I mean the touchpad thing works, right? Because the touchpad, the whole thing goes down. Well, that's the case in the Apple Watch as well.
Reaches peak output.
They're implying that you actually indent the surface of the glass, aren't they?
Just as quickly. This allows us to create shorter, more distinct feedback events.
Actually, the taptic engine could be even better than the Force Touch. Again, having this phone in your pocket and have it give you significant vibrations and rumbles to communicate, hey, this notification's from Twitter. Hey, this is the custom notification that you gave for your spouse or whatever. I do like the taptic engine on my watch.
Developed together can work to define a singular.
And I've been surprised on my watch how I can tell. You really can tell the difference. Like, if someone sends me something on Telegram versus a tweet, Telegram versus an SMS versus Slack. You know, I've learned to know which one's which.
Yeah. So
did they just have a video on the hold screen?
I think if you press hard, you get it animates itself or something like that. That'd be my guess.
This is unlike any experience you've ever seen on a smartphone, and it took the unique collaboration between our hardware, our software, and design teams to make an experience.
It took the collaboration of a whole bunch of people we know to quit and go work at another company.
Live demonstration of 3D touch in action, and to do so, I'd like to invite up none other than our Senior Vice President of Software Engineering, Craig Federici, to give you a demo.
He's back. And he's going to invite to the stage his hair.
Well, I'm absolutely thrilled to give you this first look at 3D touch live in action on the new iPhone.
Haven't talked about the camera yet. I hope that's going to be just as good.
Something we do every day.
Rumored to be 12 megapixels on the back and what is it, 5 or 8 on the front? 5.
I'd tap in like this. I might take a look and realize, no, this isn't something I want to deal with now. So I'd maybe bring up a sheet, mark it as unread, and go back.
I'd love to know what the discussion was like about splitting this into 2 different sessions, because we're not getting out of here before we hit the 2-hour mark.
Just a little bit of pressure like that.
I'm wondering what the discussion was like about having a separate session at Town Hall. It's just 150, 200 people.
Back to where I started from.
Because I don't think they've ever called together a special event that had so many people in it. And maybe it's just like Alex said, this was the only venue they had that could even do anything. And once they realized they had all these seats, they decided to just go ahead and fill them. But again, no speculation on my part, no conclusions. I bet it was an interesting conversation that would have explained a lot about how they think.
Pretty much every major venue in San Francisco was closed up probably last October. You know, for this week. For setup.
So when I see a message like this, I might want to take action. Well, now I can just flick up.
And where can I get the electric unicycle?
That easily. Or for common actions, I can just slide to the side to mark something as red.
Actually, while I was waiting in line, I saw 2 people in those one-wheel, self-balancing unicycles zip by.
Force touch.
First time I've seen those in the wild.
Did you see that video of the guy who's at Mecca doing the Hajj, where you circle the giant thing, and he's on one of those? It was hilarious.
That's not exactly pious, wouldn't you agree?
There was a big argument about whether that was okay or not in the Muslim community. I say it's fine, but who am I?
Sent me a flight number. Well, I can peek in on that.
I mean, I'm just saying that I was taking some demo pictures at Old South Church in Boston a few days ago, and I took off my hat while I was inside the church. I'm not sure if I would have had the guts to simply ride a comical electric vehicle around a place of worship.
He was definitely smoking the other worshipers.
His lap times were amazing.
It was incredible.
Right here within messages.
Finding the apex in every curve.
Maybe that's what I'll be doing during this visit. So we can see that right inside of messages. But now what's really great about 3D Touch is it lets me take action on apps without even having to open them. So I might want to call one of my favorites. Well, watch what happens. I can get to them right here directly from my home screen. Or maybe I want to listen to music like Beats One or
How is he conjuring those menus up? Just touching without pressing, or?
And sometimes you need to take that emergency selfie and you want to get directly to the selfie camera.
He probably said it when somebody was talking that somebody was me. Or
emergency selfie.
That's really cool. Drilling down into a feature directly through the application icon. That is like
shot. Just peek in. You can slide right back and forth and see that you got the shot you were looking for. It's really handy. Now, when you're on the go with Maps, I can just peek in here, get directions right to home, or drop a pin to mark my location so I can find my car. And on locations on the map, I can just peek in like this, get more information on hours, directions, or even call. It's just so much more direct and natural than ever before.
I like this a hell of a lot. This
Now,
solves a
3D
lot
Touch
of problems.
also makes it easier to navigate across apps.
First world ones,
so in the
but
past,
still.
I would do this by double-clicking on my home button to get into multitasking. It's pretty cool.
If you're not in the first
You can go,
world,
let's
you're
say,
probably
go
getting a
into
Fortnite
messages.
phone.
Well, now with 3D Touch, I can just apply a little bit of force on the edge, and look what happens. Go right into my applications, just like that. I can swipe across and pick an app, and if I want to go back to the previous app, in a single gesture, I can just swipe across.
Does that feel vaguely Palm OS to anyone?
Yeah, maybe.
Nobody
I gotta
cares
say
now.
that I'm having a little trouble following it, but I'm sure that once you have the thing in your hand, it wasn't meant to be shown on video, it was meant to be experienced.
Touch, and their feedback has been phenomenal. Dropbox makes it easier now right from your home screen to get at your recent documents or upload photos, search your Dropbox. On Facebook, I can update my status or check in right here from my home screen. With WeChat, I can take one of their site videos, just like this, and Instagram, now they've really gone to town. I can jump right in to my activity feed, and when I'm in here with these little picture thumbnails, well, of course, I can peek right in. If I want to favorite or like one, I can do it just like this. Or if there's a person I follow.
So I guess app organization is going to be a lot more important now. Now that you're able to use peeking to get to the feature you want, you really can't spread out your apps anymore.
Such a natural way
Or maybe you shouldn't
Instagram.
spread out your apps
Of
anymore.
course, they even made it play videos automatically.
I think I organized my first 2 pages, and then after that, it's just like, I'll search for those.
Right.
So no matter what you like to do with your phone, 3D Touch makes it better than ever. I think you're gonna love it. Thank you very much.
3D Touch.
Looks like it would make it a lot easier to post on Instagram while you're driving also.
Yeah. Yes.
But don't ever do that.
No.
Yeah.
When you're driving your Google self-driving car.
Exactly.
Also our third generation.
Yeah, that looks like a real winner.
Nobody drives anymore until Apple comes out with the Apple car.
Means we can drive faster performance while being more energy efficient. And our software team has worked together with our chip team to enable it to be maximum performance for the kinds of tasks we do every day. And it delivers a big jump in performance. Compared to the A8, it is 70% faster at CPU tasks. And at graphics tasks, it's 90% faster. This is a big jump in performance. It's going to make using our phone so much faster and a lot more fun. So what can you do to have more fun with your iPhone with all this graphics performance? Well, to show you, I'd like to invite up the CEO and co-founder of Pixel Toys, Andy Wafer.
This TWiT Live special is brought to you by Braintree. If you're working on a mobile app and searching for the right payments API, check out Braintree V.0 SDK. With one simple integration, your customers get every way to pay. To learn more and to try out the sandbox, go to braintreepayments.com/twit.
3D Touch is going to be for gaming, but it shows the incredible performance leap made with the new A9 chip. For the first time in Freeblade, players are going to get to take command of an Imperial Knight, a massive 50-foot-tall battle mech. In Freeblade, players touch to aim and shoot, but 3D Touch adds an entire new dimension to the gameplay experience. Now, players can press to smoothly zoom in or out, or press a little deeper to switch to a heavier weapon like this battle cannon, all without taking a finger off the screen. That's never been done before. We were also super excited to discover the incredible performance boost of these new devices. When we got our hands on them, we turned everything up to the max. We started by adding higher resolution textures. And then we added more particles. And then we realized we could do even more, so we kept going. We more than doubled the number of AI enemies. We added a huge number of additional destructible objects to the scene to create this more
Is this your favorite kind of game?
action-packed experience.
Like these?
We added a focus blur effect that's activated by the 3D touch. We added full-screen
This is
bloom
literally
to
my
beautifully
life.
flare the lights and the explosions. We added dynamic cinematic color grading to the entire scene to create this rich visual look. We never imagined we'd be able to get this intensity of action.
Yeah, I never play these kind of games.
And then we added every single other effect we had.
So
Lasers,
far, I've been able to keep my
traces,
kids, my younger
fire,
kids out.
smoke,
Yeah.
and even bigger explosions. With metal
I have
and
nothing
AI
against
chip,
gratuitous
we
violence.
were
I just don't have any
amazed to find
time.
We could do all of these effects
I don't like anything that I have to get good at. You know,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Angry Birds, I'm about as good as I'm ever going to be, and and Field Runners, I can pick it up and put it down. I don't want any dexterity.
I just
want to fill 15 minutes because I'm standing in line.
Touch on the new iPhone.
Now you can do it with 3D touch.
App Store this holiday season. Thank you, guys.
Pixel toys.
Now, how many people are going to mishear that
Well,
and congratulate you, Alex, on that wonderful coup that you're
the
doing?
advanced chip ever in a smartphone. I don't
your
know
game is
what
awesome,
does.
Alex.
I mean, 3D battle mechs. So much fun. So the A9 has an
That's why
incredible
you're missing so many
CPU
Mac breaks.
for
You're working on this awesome game. Under
Exactly.
top secret conditions.
The super shoot-up game.
I guess now we know that Rwanda is actually just a code name for the secret building on the Apple campus.
Project Rwanda.
No comment.
of things like our health and fitness data throughout the day. And it is now able to be always on as it's integrated. This helps with other tasks as well. For example, we have our new Hey Siri feature. And with Hey Siri, whether you're plugged in or not,
This is the Hey Siri, give us a hint
your
at
iPhone and ask
the
Siri
title.
things like, Hey Siri, what's it like being you?
So you don't have to be plugged in to use Hey Siri anymore.
Hey Phil. Hey Phil. Hey Phil. There. That's kind of how it feels.
Siri's definitely sassy. The new iPhone 6S includes a new second-generation Touch ID sensor. It's twice as fast, so it's so lightning quick now. When you touch it, you can't believe how quickly it recognizes your fingerprint. Perhaps the feature many of us love the most about our iPhones is the camera. It's an incredible camera, and our customers take stunning photographs with it, like this one. This is taken by a customer. Perhaps you've seen it outside in our World Gallery campaign. It's truly beautiful. But we've got a great camera in iPhone 6S and 6S Plus. Customers are going to love taking photos with it because it's now an all-new iSight camera. In fact, it's a 12-megapixel iSight camera. That's 50% more pixels than before, enabling a tremendous increase in detail in your photos. But as you know, many sensors, as you add pixels, you degrade image quality in important ways. And our team set a goal that we were not going to add pixels until we could do so without trading off the legendary image quality of the iSight camera. And they've done that. So how did we do it? Well, first let's talk about the sensor. Let's go inside. Here is the iSight camera sensor. It's got 50% more pixels, and with that, 50% more focus pixels, so its autofocus is even faster and more accurate. Now, typically, when you're taking a picture, the light comes in, and the photons excite the photosensors. And as
The
you
light
pack
comes
the
in, the
pixels
photon's like,
closer together, there are artifacts. This is called crosstalk. You see the photodiodes there, and the colors bleeding between them. If they get too close, you get inaccurate
We developed
color,
this physical
you get
sensor, and
noise
by
in your
we
images.
mean Sony.
There are a number of techniques our team
Right?
has
Doesn't Sony make
worked
these
on to
things?
help reduce
They
that
do.
to maintain image quality.
Sony
For
makes
example,
most of people's.
we've taken
Yeah.
the color
I'm not
filters
sure.
that sit above the photodiodes and moved them down on top of it. That helps. In addition, we've got great technology called deep trench isolation. You take one thing away
Okay,
today and
that's
tell
the thing to
people, I
memorize.
learned about deep trench isolation. It separates the photodiodes and helps to maintain very accurate and precise color. Well, the reality is we don't need to know any of this. All we have to know is that we can take even better pictures with an iPhone 6S and 6S Plus. As we do every time, we like to give our phones to great photographers to travel around the world and show us what can be done with these incredible iSight cameras. So the photos we're going to show you now were taken with iPhone 6S and 6S Plus, and they have not been retouched in any way. This is just as they come out of the iPhone. These were taken in Iceland. One of the things you see, as our goal was, fantastic color. The skin tones are really accurate. The depth of field is incredible. This was also taken in Iceland. This is Hershey Mountain. Guess how it got its name? Now, what's important in this is the sky is a beautiful, rich sky. It has no noise in it that you can see, which is one of the artifacts you would get as you pack pixels closer together. There's a beautiful picture of the Blue Lagoon in Iceland. You might have guessed that's a lagoon, but can you guess what this is? It's amazing, painterly. This is a photo taken from a plane down onto a river delta system. The level of detail with the 12 megapixel sensor is fantastic. Here's another detailed photo. This is a photo over Manhattan. Again, tremendous improvement in the incredible detail of these photographs.
I see Andy
Here's a
down
really
there.
tough one. This was taken in a ferry in New York, and it's challenged by the fact of both natural light and artificial light. Again, not retouched in any way, the iPhone 6S camera nails exposure and accurate color. It's beautiful.
God, look at
Here's a
that
photo
deep
taken
trench
in-
isolation. That
Here's
is
a photo
beautiful.
taken in Italy.
That is in,
Buildings are beautiful, and again, the sky rendered in very low noise. You get that beautiful salmon
that swum
color
right
just at
there.
sunset.
It's in.
Here's a
Cinque
photo
Terre-
taken in
Cinque
almost no
Terre.
light
Cinque Terre.
on a
Cinque Terre,
river
that's
in
right.
China. You can see incredible level of detail in the water despite there being almost no light.
Remember
Here's
a story
couple
about Ping?
Animal photos. Here's
Right.
one
I remember
of
Ping.
two
Children's books. Yep.
East African crown cranes. Very cool. And last, this is a scarlet macaw. This is a bird with attitude. Its color is beautiful. The colors are exactly accurate.
Looks like Eddie Q's
Nailed
shirt.
them. And as we zoom in, you can see the incredible level of detail and sharpness from that 12 megapixel sensor. Now, with the bigger sensor, we can also take even bigger panoramas, and panoramas are loved by our customers. This is a 63 megapixel panorama photo. Let's zoom in and pan across it. Again, you see the accurate blue sky with low noise. You see incredible exposure across the scene, and you don't see any stitching lines. Just a beautiful photo. So the iPhone 6S and 6S Plus can take incredible photos better than ever before. It can also take amazing videos, HD videos, and now for the first time in an iPhone, 4K videos.
But you can play on your Apple TV. Oh, wait, no.
So what's a 4K
You can
video?
look at it.
Well, when you shoot your
Look
video,
at it on your
you get
4K
higher
screen
degree of
Sony
detail.
phone.
In every
All right.
frame, there are 8 million pixels. It's an incredibly detailed video. And let me give you an example. We shot a video here. Again, this is directly out of an iPhone 6S.
Taylor Swift? No, it won't be Taylor Swift. Christina Warren already looked into that. She found out that it's not going to happen. Taylor Swift is in Texas or something.
She has Taylor Swift on Find My Friend.
She does.
Wish they'd show the rigs that these phones were mounted in.
Yeah. You have to pay extra for those.
Yeah. Not only
You can-
that, but how they made sure that it looks like an iPhone 6, not like a 6S.
Now, what's truly remarkable is that video was shot on an iPhone 6S and edited in iMovie on that iPhone. So incredible to shoot and edit 4K videos directly on your iPhone. Along with the iSight camera, we have a new FaceTime camera. It's a 5 megapixel FaceTime HD camera.
And that's
So you
up
can
from
take
what,
incredibly detailed
1.3
selfies of you and your
megapixels?
friends,
Something like that.
and their friends, and they'll all come out beautiful. As you know, on the back
The
side
6
of our
also had this
iSight
weird
camera,
auto
we
HDR mode
have
for
a
the
great
selfie
flash,
camera that
the best in the industry.
often
It's called the
created kind of weird
True Tone
results.
flash.
So I hope they
It
fix
takes
that.
flash pictures by matching the ambient light and giving you a more accurate flash lighting color in your photos. We wanted to
My
bring
number
that
one use for the
technology
flash
to
is
the
the
front side of your
flashlight.
FaceTime camera.
I turned it off, otherwise I was like, oh, but I use the flashlight all the time.
A beautiful big
I'm
LED
glad it's there.
backlit display. So we're going to use the Retina display to be a Retina flash. In fact, one that matches the ambient lighting color and could be a True Tone flash to perfectly match your photos. And this took some amazing engineering from the team. Not only do we match the colors, but inside with the display chip, they've engineered it so that it will light up 3 times brighter when you need to use it for a flash.
So they're
in
using the
even
display as a
very low
flash.
light,
Yeah.
you get incredible flash photos from your FaceTime camera. So that's the FaceTime and iSight cameras in the iPhone 6S and 6S Plus. And you're going to love taking photos with them. The one thing about the photos, if you look over time, the camera team has been doing remarkable work year after year. We're increasing the sensors to make them more capable, adding autofocus pixels. We're improving the lenses to be even more sharp and aligned and accurate. We've got incredible image processing that's faster and lower power, and on. Great features, auto HDR.
I've actually done that. I used to do TWiT from Kenya, or no, from Greece, and there was a light bulb behind me, horrible lighting conditions. So I set up 2 iPads in front of me, full brightness, and there's an app that you can choose the color, so I tweak the color. It works.
And friends. And with iPhone 6S and 6S Plus, you can now take even more stunning photos. But what if we could do something more? Teams come up with something truly brilliant.
3D.
What if you could press with 3D touch on your photos, and this happened?
Smudged the picture. So that's what they were showing on the lock screen.
It's called
in that video.
live
I
photos.
thought there was that same child.
Right.
Live photos.
So is it like burst mode photos, or what's
Take
going
photos
on?
just as we're used to. Like this beautiful.
My guess is, you know how you can take like 30 at once, and then it keeps them all.
Scene, and then you
Probably
press on it.
Burst.
related to that.
And
So
you
it's
see
like
the
a
waters ripple, reminding
GIF.
you of the moment you took the photo. Or you have a street scene.
I wonder how you go about sharing those with other iPhone
Press
users.
on it, and the cars begin to move. And these live photos.
Or if it's actually creating
can have
a
sound.
GIF that they can actually share with other people.
Yeah.
I bet it's going to be an iPhone only thing though.
Yep.
When you go into your photo roll and
Like
you
with
swipe
messages.
across them, you see a little bit of a moment of vitality, a sense of how alive they are.
It's a nice touch.
Beautiful experience, unlike
intended.
any other way of interacting with photos. So how do you take a live photo? Well, that's the amazing part. You don't do anything different. You just take a photo as you always have. And it's the same beautiful high resolution, now 12
It captures a
megapixel
video with
photo.
every photo.
On top of the status bar, you see a new icon. Those 3 concentric circles lit up yellow. By default, it's on. You just take pictures, and now they're live photos. And when you're taking them, you get a
If you
smaller
thought-
indication
if you
that
did-
it's
you thought you
live,
didn't have enough
because
space
it'll
on your
capture a
photo.
second
Oh,
and a
yeah.
half on either side of the photo.
Yeah, this is all just
still
a scheme to
photos. They're
sell
not
more 64 gig
videos.
phones and make sure
They're
that no one
12
wants the
megapixel
16.
high quality still images with
I definitely
all
want
the
256
incredible
now.
effects you want on a photo. But we extend the capture moment just before and just after you took it. And we do it in a space-efficient way so they don't take up much more room.
Before and after you took it?
And the teams have
How do
done
they
an
know
amazing job to
before?
support this across
Yeah,
all of
'cause
Apple's
it caches.
products. So you can watch
So it's
live
taking
photos
pictures constantly.
on OS 10
When you
on the
when you
iPad.
open up the app,
You can
it'll
see
be
them on your
taking it'll just be
iPad, you can see
it'll
them on
it'll
your
push that
iPhones,
into a
and yes,
cache.
you can
There's
see
other
them on your
cameras that do
Apple
that. That'll
Watch
push it
with
into a
the new
cache
photo
and just
face.
constantly throwing
You
away
can
the
set
cache,
a
but it's
live
holding the
photo
last couple
as
seconds
your
or the
watch
last
face. So
second or
every time
whatever.
you raise your arm, it comes alive as it's telling you the time.
But it's
This is
just enough RAM
amazing.
to roll those over.
Yeah.
And when he says space efficient way, most likely what they're doing is temporal compression, where the photo you took is the
We have so many
keyframe, and then
developers
on either side is just
job
the delta.
with
You know what
photos
changed in the
supporting their
image.
apps. We want to make sure they support live photos too. So we're creating new
That's
developer
cool.
APIs. And we've been working with some developers, like Facebook. We'll be supporting live photos within the Facebook app on iOS this year.
So you can share them on Facebook. You said it would be an iOS only thing.
So that's
As
the
part
new
of
camera system.
Apple's anything but Google strategy.
We also have incredible advancements in our wireless as well. LTE has LTE Advanced, so it's twice as fast. And there are 23 bands of wireless LTE networking. That's the most in any smartphone. In fact, it makes iPhone unquestionably the best phone for traveling around the world. Wi-Fi is faster too. It's up to twice as fast. And of course, every iPhone 6S and 6S Plus runs iOS 9 and all the great features that we've talked about, from the new advancements in Siri to proactive assistance, the new News app, which is amazing for reading news on the go on your iPhone, the new Notes app, and of course, Transit and Maps. You've probably heard that more and more Android customers are switching to iPhones. And it's true. Who can blame them, right? So we want to help that. You're going to find a new app on the Android store from Apple that you can download to your Android phone. When you set up your iPhone, we'll make it easier to get all your important information over to your iPhone.
Yeah, isn't it great how open Android is?
It's the neighborly thing to do, right? Well, iPhone 6S and 6S Plus comes with some great accessories. There's some new charging docks that match the metal finishes of your iPhone. There's new leather covers in 5 beautiful new leather materials. There's new silicone covers in 11 new colors. In fact, one of them is in this great product red. So that's iPhone 6S and 6S Plus. Of course, as all Apple products are, they're made in the most environmentally friendly way possible. Mercury-free LED display glass. Come on, you can say it with me. Arsenic-free displays.
Nobody's gonna say it.
VFR-free, beryllium-free, PVC-free, and of course, highly recyclable aluminum and glass. Tim told you, these are our most advanced phones ever. In fact, the most advanced phones in the world. Just look at everything embodied in these new phones. The new 3D touch experience, transforming how we interact with our phones.
Did they actually call out the 7000 series
yet,
aluminum?
our 7000 series aluminum. Strongest cover glass in the industry. Our new 64-bit, third generation A9 chip. Our second generation Touch ID, twice as fast. Faster LTE, twice as fast. Faster Wi-Fi, twice as fast. Our new 12-megapixel iSight camera with 4K video editing. New 5-megapixel.
They haven't noticed.
FaceTime
They haven't
HD
said
camera.
anything about like
A
stabilization or
Retina
that there's
flash
any
on the
difference
front
between the
side,
two of them,
so
like
you
there
can
were
take
in the
FaceTime
first
pictures in
generation,
low
which I think was a
light.
mistake.
And of course, I think you're going to love this feature when you get to use it. Live photos. So what's new?
Didn't Harry Potter
iPhone's
invent
gonna
that?
Cost? Well, let's bring back the previous generation and start with that. iPhone 6 and iPhone 6 Plus, which have been huge hits around the world, were priced this way, starting at $199 on iPhone 6 and $299 on iPhone 6 Plus. And this is typical carrier contracts, 24-month carrier contracts. We're very proud to tell you the new iPhone 6S, new 6S Plus will come in at the exact same prices and same configurations.
In other words, we're not feeling any
this is
price
how our
pressure
lineup will
at
look.
all.
iPhone 5S moves down to become the entry-level iPhone, available on 24-month contracts for free. iPhone 6 and 6 Plus are going to be $100 less expensive. We think there are
And again,
a
you
lot
can see
of
this kind of
customers
closing the
that are
whole
going to be very
market.
excited
You know,
about
where
this.
whatever
6S
range
and
you're
6S
coming in
Plus
at,
take their place
Apple's got a solution for you, and it makes it just
As we
really.
know, many customers now are
Suck.
not buying their phones
I think they
on a
perfected this with the iPod, and as they
and
roll a new
instead
product out, they just
buying them
slowly chew that all
with
up.
installment plans.
And the
So here are
amazing
typical
economies of
installment
scale
plans
to just keep making
these
the
new
low,
phones.
low-end one isn't a
As you can
different
see,
phone. It's the same one that they
by
perfected the
carrier,
manufacturing
prices
process for.
begin as low as $19 a month and go up to $31 a month. So the simple truth is, on an installment plan, any iPhone you want is pretty.
It's going to get harder for them to hide the price of this,
So
though,
in
now that
addition to this
AT&T and other
pricing,
carriers are
we have
not
one other
are
set of
explicitly
pricing to
saying,
tell you
we're
about
selling you the phone
for
at this
iPhone,
price, but we
and
can
that
let you
is a
pay it
great
for
program
X
starting
per
in our
month.
retail
Yep.
stores, starting first here in the US and then growing around the world. It's a program called the iPhone Upgrade Program. So if you're like me and you like to have a new iPhone every single year, this is the best way to do that. With the iPhone Upgrade Program, you can get a new iPhone every year. When you get it, you choose your carrier. It is an unlocked phone. It includes the Apple Care Plus program, and it
Wow.
starts at just
So they just took that away from the
$32 a month.
carriers.
Again,
They're
it's a
making their own
24-month
gazelle
installment,
now.
But you can get
Yep.
a new iPhone every single year.
Wow.
Yeah,
Sorry.
and just buying new customers at lower price points for the ones that get turned
So
in.
when can you get the new iPhone 6S?
It's like
and
leasing
6S
a
Plus?
phone
Well, you
or
can
something.
pre-order starting this Saturday, September 12th. And then it'll be available in just 2 weeks, September 25th.
Okay, I gotta go get in line.
The following countries: Australia, Canada, China, France, Germany, Hong Kong, Japan,
For everyone who
New
orders it
Zealand,
between
Puerto Rico,
12
Singapore,
and
United Kingdom, and
12:01.
of course, the United States. By the end of this year, we'll have rolled out iPhones 6S and 6S Plus in over 130 countries with over 400 carrier partners. We're also going to want to run iOS 9 on all of our devices. So I'm very happy to tell you that it will become available just next week on September 16th. With iOS, of course, you want to have your iCloud account supporting all that awesome capability. It comes with 5 gigs for free with each account, but we have some new pricing if you want to upgrade to more capacity. So we want to make sure you knew about that. The capacity for iCloud now is 50 gigabytes for just 99 cents a month, 200 gigabytes for $2.99, and a full terabyte for $9.99 a month. That's half the price of previously. So that is all the great news on the new iPhones. Back to Tim.
And one more thing, a new car.
Truly the most advanced iPhones we've ever created. And we're so proud of them. We want to
Somebody-
tell the world about them. And to do that,
Somebody stringed together all of
I'd
Tim
love to
Cook's
show it to you.
the most something or other we've ever created.
This is iPhone 6S. Not much has changed, except it responds to the pressure of your finger. So you can peek into stuff.
I think Apple hates me.
And
He
pop
knows
stuff
that I'm
open.
standing on a sidewalk in 90-degree weather, and now it's starting to rain. I'm holding up this phone with one hand, and my back hurts. But let's have another video, so Randy still has to stand outside with his hand held up in 90-degree weather, and it's starting to rain.
It's like everything is faster except their keynotes.
Hey, Bill Hader.
Show me photos of tortellini.
Maybe get takeout? The camera shoots 4K video now, which changes.
How did Bill Hader end up in there? That
Nice. Even
Hey, there's one of your little holders.
is the flash. That's gonna get like 1 million likes.
Thanks.
Actually, photos themselves have changed.
Tell me that wasn't an actual reality show star.
Just touch them.
Apple has too much class for that.
Yeah. His middle name is Android.
It's pretty amazing when you think back on how far we've come. Only 10 years from basically a flip phone to what we have now.
Yep.
I love that ad. Huge
Like
morning
2007
for
there.
us. All new models and new bands for the Apple Watch with
How
WatchOS
excited we were
2
about that
bringing
new brown leather
incredible
band.
capabilities and native apps.
Everyone was saying, they can just end it right now.
An all-new, bigger and more powerful iPad, the most powerful we've ever created, the iPad Pro.
I don't think there's any reason why the pencil shouldn't work on, because all the dynamics
Apple
are all
TV.
working in the pencil.
Yeah.
Should
And the
work
most
with the phone.
advanced
They'll make sure that
iPhones
it doesn't
we've
though,
ever
because they
created.
like to
Most
isolate those
advanced in the
things.
I know, but man, on your
iPhone
phone,
6S,
you'll jot things down and do little
iPhone
sketches.
6S Plus.
They don't want to sell you a pencil. They want to
Got
sell you a
two great
$1,200
hands-on experiences for you
iPad Pro.
today to look at all of
They
these
wanna
amazing
sell you a
products.
dream.
Make sure that you go to both of them. They're quite different, and you'll miss something if you don't go to both. I'd like to take a minute and recognize everyone from Apple who worked so hard on delivering all of the great things you've seen this morning. Please stand up. I am applauding you.
So is that why they're in the bigger venue, to have Apple employees?
Also the demo areas. Wasn't that a shot of like new fake living room setups? People to check them out.
Right.
It is such a privilege. It is such a privilege to work with this team that commit themselves to doing the best work of their lives to make other people's lives better. Now, before we go, since we're in a legendary music venue, we thought it would be only appropriate to close with a sensational music act.
Meatloaf.
We have one of my absolute favorite bands here. They're wrapping up a successful world tour that included 43 countries. They have an incredible 5 platinum singles on their latest album. But more importantly, they are great people and their music is absolutely amazing. Please join me in welcoming One Republic.
Well, there it is.
Mm-hmm.
The Apple Pencil. One Republic has really got to work on there.
Instantly a shout out to the TWiT viewers who have been greeting me on the sidewalk.
They have extra umbrellas for you?
I feel like this is like TWiT's like New Year's Rockin' Eve, where I'm like Wayne Newton in Las Vegas, you're like Dick Clark in Times Square. So we can rock in the new iPhones in every single time zone. And now, some rock stylings from the captain and the Neil.
I happen to know who One Republic is, but I have a 12-year-old, so that's my excuse. I don't know what anyone else's excuse is.
As someone who works on productions like this, all I'm amazed by is how quickly that stage came out. I mean, so they must have done some kind of lift. Look at it.
I am unhip. I thought that they were the name of an iPad accessory maker.
Okay, did anyone see how much the Hermes band costs? That's what I'm interested in. The leather one.
I don't think they even
said anything about it yet.
Yeah. It's expensive. It's free money. They probably make those things for like $15, sell them for $450. Okay. All right. Well, this TWiT Live special is brought to you by Braintree. If you're working on a mobile app and searching for the right payments API, check out the Braintree V.0 SDK. With one simple integration, your customers get every way to pay. To learn more and to try out the sandbox, go to braintreepayments.com/twit. We thank them for sponsoring this special live event. Yeah, so I know what a republic is too because I was a poli-sci major. But yeah, so what we've got here is all the rumors were true, and there were a few things that weren't rumored that were surprises, and that was probably hard for them to do. So they started with the Apple Watch. They talked about they have 10,000 Apple Watch apps now. The apps can now access microphones and speakers and things like that. So there's a lot more power that can be brought to bear from the apps themselves. It's less of just like coming to the watch from the phone. They showed off a Facebook Messenger app, an iTranslate app. They have a GoPro app. They spent a lot of time, which Andy Ihnatko didn't quite understand why they were spending this time, but on an app called Airstrip, which is for doctors. And the watchOS 2 operating system hits September 16th. What did we think of the Apple Watch announcement? Was this, it seems to me that the watchOS 2 is kind of a big deal, but it didn't seem like they really drove that home. What did you all think of the watchOS 2?
Well, they had talked about watchOS 2 at WWDC,
Yes.
so I didn't think there was that much new. I thought it was interesting that they focused on those medical apps, and the tracking looked interesting, but I didn't think that there was that much new with that.
And I don't think they had to spend much time on it. They're not releasing a new watch, so I think they touched on what they needed to touch on. They showed you what you're going to be able to do. They showed you something with lots of eye candy, and then they're like, okay, let's move on. I mean, this is a very long event, so you can see how they had to make some hard decisions about showing off. For instance, not even showing some of the bits that they've created.
Yep. And one of the, go ahead, Andy.
Plus, they're still trying to figure out who wants to buy these watches, and they're still kind of an impulse buy. So they didn't think about the case they made for the iPad Pro and the iPhone, where they can say, here are tangible features that make things that you like about this even better. They can't make that argument yet. They're still trying to get the first generation of buyers out there, so that makes sense for them not to spend a lot of time on it.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, so they also announced the long-rumored iPad Pro. It's a 12.9-inch screen with 5.6 million pixels. It's got an A9 processor. It's got quad speakers. That wasn't rumored, I believe. Did anybody hear rumors about 4 speakers in this thing? I didn't hear that. It's a separate smart keyboard, separate Apple Pencil. The Pencil is $99. The smart keyboard's $169. And the iPad Pro itself ranges in price from $799 to $1,079. If you get everything, if you get the Cadillac, so the top of the line iPad Pro with the Pencil and the keyboard, it's $1,347, which Bruce pointed out is less than what he paid for his Surface Pro.
Right.
With the same features and probably better performance.
It's still not an operating.
You can buy a Surface Pro for well under $1,000 if you want to get like the i3 or the i5. Depends on whether you want it out to be kitted like an iPad or like a real notebook.
But you and then the keyboard is extra and etc. Right. So and the pen is extra.
Okay.
So yeah. So.
Well, and I think that I think it's going to be very interesting to see what the Pencil does, and whether we get low latency, how the sensitivity looks. It looks very exciting for a lot of people want to be able to draw on it. I think we're also probably one iteration away. I mean, the problem still for people like me is not that I need I have a MacBook. I don't need a workstation, but I do need to be able to do OS 10, and I think we're 1 year away. I think we see the final merger of the two OSs, next WWDC. I think this is the kind of the inching towards that kind of final move.
And will they come out with a 17-inch iPad next year that has OS 10 features that you use as desktop?
I just think that being able to draw on the screen, touch the screen. I mean, I have a Surface. I go back and forth constantly. They didn't have to do anything special. I don't need them to change anything. I don't need Apple to figure out the best way to do that. I just want to be able to tap the screen where I want to tap it.
Yeah.
And I think that they are very, very close to this. And this is just one evolution towards that process.
Yeah. I can't wait to see the Comixology app on this thing. I'm not even joking here. That's gonna be such a great thing for like graphic novels and stuff like that. I'm amazed that they showed comic books on the TV, but not on the iPad Pro.
Yeah.
I bet right up the street, Comixology is actually headquartered here in New York. I bet if they don't already have one to play with, I bet they're going nuts right now.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing the news app on the bigger screen. I think it looks interesting. I love Office apps on iOS. I think they've done a really good job with that. So I would be interested in replacing this with an iPad soon.
Yeah.
Because unlike you, Alex, I don't need a lot of, I don't do a lot of heavy graphic stuff. So yeah, I'm inching towards that.
And it's close. I mean, I have to admit, I look at how much the percentage of my day is spent on my iPhone. That I just sit there and I don't really want to open my computer more than I have to.
Yeah. They also announced, as rumored, the new Apple TV, which has a Siri remote. I believe they're sub-branding that as the Siri remote. I think that's what they called it a couple of times. It has a glass touch surface on the top. You talk into it by pressing a Siri button. It has universal search, as Mark Gurman. All these features were predicted by Mark Gurman, or rather, his sources revealed these things. They showed what appeared to be screensavers on the TV. I don't know what's going on there. They hired a camera crew and they shot some video. I don't know why. They talked about the TV OS, which is, of course, the Apple TV specific operating system, which ships in, the beta goes out today, yeah. Apple TV itself comes in late October. In other words, just in time for everybody to buy this for Christmas. And the price is $149 and $199, depending. What do we think of the Apple TV?
Surprised it doesn't have 4K. I think it's a firmware update. I think away from that, but I'm kind of surprised that they didn't. They have some things that are working in 4K and not. The entire industry is moving to 4K, so it's just interesting to see it not there.
Yeah, it feels more like I wouldn't dismiss it by saying it's like they're playing catch up. But it seems less like a revolution and more like we realized that we designed an Apple TV that was going to work for the first 5 years up until 2015, and now we have to build one that's relevant for how people are using streaming right now. Given that the youngest generation of trackable viewers are simply not watching TV anymore, and every age demographic beyond the oldest demographic is watching TV less and less. So these things they have to replace it not with something a little bit better, but something that is completely positioned differently. So I don't think it was revolutionary improvement. I don't think it's necessarily a whole product category for them, but at least now they can actually compete with Roku and what Google is doing and what Amazon is doing.
Yeah, I agree that a whole generation doesn't watch TV, and they watch YouTube, and we didn't hear anything about that at all. So.
Yeah. And I don't quite understand what it means to not support 4K. Obviously, if you have a 4K TV, you can use your Apple TV as a controller and watch 4K TV, but the content is not 4K. That's
right. I mean, it's going to be the content, the graphics, everything will be still in 1080p, and so it's just an odd thing not to do that with, especially something because usually you're worried about that resolution because of battery life and so on and so forth. It's odd not to just say, well, hey, we're 4K, and we can do that now. I mean, it seemed like a thing that would be to me obvious that you'd put in, but evidently not.
Yes. Okay. So they also, of course, announced the iPhone 6s and 6s Plus. It's got stronger aluminum. It's got new rose gold. The watch also has a rose gold color. Great glass. Everything's twice as fast. I think the most interesting parts were 3D touch, which lets you peek into apps from the outside of, from your main screen and so on. And I thought it was also interesting to see their live photos feature, which, as you pointed out, is constantly recording video and dumping it. And then when the app is open, and when you go to take a picture, it will grab what was seen through the camera before and after. I think that's going to end up providing some embarrassing moments, right?
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, it is dangerous and maybe perhaps a violation of privacy if you don't know that someone's taking a picture.
Yeah.
Well, and it's really only hanging on to that last little buffer. So you're talking about a second, 1 or 2 seconds before it, because what they're doing is they have a buffer there and just throwing all of that away immediately. It's not like they're saving everything as you lift up your phone it's just rolling over a certain part that it just knows that it just goes back and grabs when you take the picture.
Yeah.
But we also have to figure out, is this a gimmick feature or is this something that people are really going to embrace? Are they going to just play with it for about a day or two and then turn it off, and not turn it off in disgust, but then forget that they turned it off and never use it again? So,
yeah, it's a great question, and I
wish they talked about sharing these clips, because again, if it's just iPhone to iPhone, there are a lot of people who keep iPhone in the family, but okay, now you have this file format that you can't use anyplace else. That's good luck to you for that.
He did say that you could put it on Facebook.
Okay, what if you hate Facebook? But yeah, you're right. If you got Facebook and you got iPhones, you got the world. So okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
True. Yeah.
Yep.
I'm being grumpy. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
They have the screen itself functioning as the flash for the FaceTime camera, front facing, which is now 5 megapixels instead of 1 point something. I think it's 1.3. They have aggressively, they have a new Move from Android app. So if you want to move from Android, they'll help you do that.
They're pushing hard.
They're pushing really hard. They came out with a bunch of accessories, including charging docks that match the phone, so you can get the rose gold charging dock with your rose gold phone. They have new covers. The phones are exactly the same price. All previous phones all moved to the left. And so it's the same price in an industry where prices just keep coming down. Of course, at the highest end, I don't think any of the flagship phones are really coming down. So I guess they're in line with that trend. 130 countries, 400 carriers, and iOS 9 itself is available September 16th. Is everybody going to rush out and get this new phone?
Oh,
Of course you are.
Yeah, sure.
Why not?
Of course you are. We're professionals.
We have to.
It's my job. It's my job.
I mean, the encouragement to buy a new phone for every average person to buy a new phone every year is environmentally irresponsible. But, I mean, I guess they'll be putting those phones into other people's hands.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. For me, it depends on how good the camera is. I'm a real sucker for a really great phone camera. Almost to the point where I would maybe switch back to iOS from Android if this camera were so much better than anything I can get on Android right now. But also the 3D touch, really nice feature. I can't wait for 4 or 5 months from now when we see third-party developers really embrace this. Because if that becomes second nature to simply not launch an app, not launch Evernote, but force press on Evernote to bring up a submenu to say, please just show me whatever the last note I was looking at was, or please just create a brand new note right now. That's much better than having widgets for me scrolling in from the top. That really could be the next really great user interface wave that Apple's come up with.
Yep. And I think that also one of the other startling and surprising moves is that the company now will sort of replace the carriers in terms of being the handler of your phone. If the iPhone upgrade program starts at $32 a month, so you just keep paying them month after month, and then when the new phone comes out, whatever it is, you get it. That is killer. I think that's killer feature.
When you think about
that's
program.
terrible.
Sorry?
I was just, my opinion is that I really hate the idea of people just simply saying, I'm going to spend $32 every month. I'm always going to get a brand new phone as soon as it comes out. I mean, it's your money, spend it however you want, but that short circuits the idea of saying, okay, you have a new phone, Apple, let's take a look at it and see that if you're delivering features that are actually relevant to me right now. $32 a month, that's a lot of money for someone to spend on anything. And just assuming that you're going to want the next incremental upgrade. I'm hoping that consumers get a little bit more savvy about what their needs are.
But I think the only thing you look at is if you buy an unlocked phone at, you're paying, that's the 2 years between the two, so the thing is that, or almost the 2 years in between. So if you think you might get a phone every other year, that number starts to make sense. Now, if you don't think you're going to get a phone every other year, then maybe not. But I think that there's a lot of people, and when you think about Apple being able to model, we're going to ship this many, we're going to ship X million phones, and we know that those are going out. It's interesting. Also, obviously the carriers are all doing this, whether it's T-Mobile, AT&T, Verizon. Apple doing this is also keeping them from getting in between Apple and the customer, and I think that there is another end game for Apple, which is to cut the carriers out completely eventually. And I think they don't want to get people too attached to anything there. They want to aggressively make sure that you're still working with Apple.
And I agree with Andy about what people should do, but I think this does match reality. There are certain types of people. Think of the Rene Ritchies of the world. He is going to get the new phone every single time, no matter what. because he loves Apple iPhones and so on. He's, so I think there's enough people like that who would buy into this program. Well, I think we've got to wrap it up because we got Mac Break Weekly coming up where we're going to be talking about I don't know what we're going to talk about.
More of this.
Yeah.
More of this? Okay. We'll go ahead and do that. We'll just go ahead and wrap this up. Joining us today was Alex Lindsay of Pixel Core. Thank you so much. And you're going to stick around for Mac Break Weekly, right? Wonderful, wonderful. Megan Morrone of TWiT.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to go back to your desk,
I'm going to go back
like
to my desk, prepare for Tech News Tonight, where we'll talk more. Hopefully talking to Georgia Dow from iMore.
Wonderful. Georgia Dow, great. And Andy Anatko of the Chicago Sun-Times and the Colbert Report Late Show.
Your man on the street here at Sullivan Theater.
Yes, thank you so much for putting up with all of the abuse and all of the heckling by passersby. It's New York City, so what are you going to do?
Hey, if it weren't for the added scent of sidewalk urine, it would be a complete experience.
Andy
I
Anatko.
really smell urine while I record this show.
Andy Anatko, thank you so much for sticking this out. It's been a fantastic event, I think, from the perspective of what they actually announced. Lots and lots of great stuff. And so with that, I will conclude this TWiT Live special. Apple's Hey Siri, Give Us a Hint event, which Siri, by the way, never did give us a hint.
She didn't.
She did not. So thank you all for watching, and stick around for Mac Break Weekly.